Chapter 105. Black clouds hung low, lightning flashed and thunder roared. The world was filled with a strong gale and the atmosphere was filled with killing intent. A long black line appeared in the endless wilderness. A boundless killing intent covered the sky, even covering the storm and thunder in the sky. All of them were storm wolf mounts. All of them were profound iron armors. All of them were swords and spears, all of them were iron-blooded warriors. This was a terrifying iron-blooded army that was not inferior to the Central State's most elite army. The wolf flag fluttered and the forest of spears was cold. This represented the strongest mercenary force in Central State. A giant green wolf that seemed to be carved out of jade was charging at the forefront of the group, and a man sat on it. His eyes were like lightning, and his face was gloomy. There was a huge scar across his left eye on his face, causing his face to look even more sinister. His gaze was sharp and icy cold like a blade, and his entire body was filled with a terrifying pressure that could suffocate others. Sir Family Head. In front of us is South Sky City. Please give the order. We will directly attack the city. Two powerful mercenary leaders stood on the left and right. Tianlang is still in their hands and you want me to attack the city? Are you looking to die? The two mercenary leaders quickly pushed him away. This subordinate doesn't dare. This middle-aged man with a knife scar was not someone else. He was the current head of the Ye family, the ruler of the Ye family mercenary group, Yi Wudao. This person looked like he was 40 or 50 years old, but he was actually almost 60 years old. At the age of 30, he had become the head of the Ye family and had led the Ye family mercenary group for over 20 years. He had single-handedly pushed the Ye family to the throne of Central State's four great families. Leaf Dao Denier had been extremely domineering when he was young, and he was extremely cruel and merciless. He would slaughter an entire clan for the slightest conflict, not even sparing infants. Anyone who made him hold a grudge never had a good ending. For over 10 years. Yi Wudao's reputation spread far and wide, his influence growing day by day. Adding on the vicious reputation he had accumulated in his early years, there was no one in Central Continent City that dared to provoke him. Yi Wudao also rarely appeared in people's eyes, but his cruel wolf nature was spread to the entire family. From the upper echelons to the servants and housekeepers, everyone in the Ye family was arrogant and domineering. Their personalities were tyrannical and cruel. The Ye family even openly supported internal strife, let the wolf nature penetrate deep into the bone marrow. If he wasn't ruthless enough, he wouldn't be able to survive in the Ye family. Because of this, the Ye family's mercenaries were extremely powerful, and the Ye family's businesses were filled with aggressiveness. In order to achieve their goals, they would do anything, no matter the cost. In just a short span of 10 years, the entire family's power and wealth had expanded by several times, and they had even attracted countless followers. The wolf was the totem. The entire clan was a wolf. The Ye family became the most wolf-like and aggressive family in the Central Plains. For so many years, there had been no power that dared to openly challenge the Ye family. Who would have thought that in a small place like Tiannan City, a Chu Tian would suddenly appear? Even more unexpected. The son that Yi Wudao was so proud of, was actually captured by a nobody. When Yi Wudao found out that his son, Yi Tianlang, had been captured, he was so angry that he killed more than 10 of his personal attendants on the spot, and directly led the Ye family's most elite troops, majestically charging towards Tiannan City. The gates of Tiannan City were tightly shut. On top of the tall city walls, thousands of archers spread out, the arrowheads were like a dense forest, shining with a cold light, as if they could cover the sky and cover the earth at any time. A burly man wearing a white general's armor stood on the command platform, holding a thick iron spear in his hand. Facing the mighty Ye family mercenaries, he loudly shouted, "I am Tiannan City's General Xiong. Yi Wudao, you brought your private army to surround the city, threatening the millions of citizens of Tiannan City, and despising the kingdom's laws. Do you know the punishment?" Yi Wudao's gaze swept across the city walls, and finally fell on a young man who was tied up. Wasn't this his son, Yi Tianlang? Yi Tianlang was arrogant for a moment. In front of tens of thousands of mercenaries, he was tied to a big flag in a humiliating manner. This was simply a ruthless slap in the face of Yi Wudao, a ruthless slap in the face of the Ye family mercenaries. If it was an ordinary Ye family member, then it would be fine, but Yi Tianlang was Yi Wudao's son, the heir of the Ye family. Yi Wudao ignored Xiong Bing, and raised his hands high, attack formation. The wolf cavalry neatly spread out, forming several falling formations, and at the same time raised their weapons high up. The war wolves seemed to feel their master's killing intent, and all of them looked up to the sky and howled. These wolves were all demon beasts, one or two was nothing, but now there were tens of thousands of them howling towards the sky, and the sound was like waves crashing against the city walls. The hands of the Tian-Nan city soldiers holding onto their bows couldn't help but tremble, and some of the weak-willed ones even peed their pants on the spot. Prepare to charge. Kill, kill, kill. Those who humiliate my Ye family. Die. Tens of thousands of wolves howled together. Tens of thousands of riders brandished their spears. Murderous intent soared to the sky. Xiong Bing's face became very ugly. Mayor, the situation is not good, that madman Yi Wudao might really attack the city. Has Chu Tian not come out yet? He went into closed-door training the night before yesterday, and he still hasn't come out. Nangong Yi was standing behind Xiong Bing, and his face was also gloomy. This brat made a mess himself, and now he wants us to clean up his mess. This is too much. Nangong Hai was gloating on the side. This time they had angered Yi Wudao, let's see how they deal with this. Yi Wudao's personality was cruel and heartless, and in his anger, he could definitely attack the city. How could the Tian-Nan city's army stop the Ye family's elites? At that time, not to mention Chu Tian, perhaps even a massacre would start in Tian-Nan city. In this matter, Nangong Yi could not shirk his responsibility, and would inevitably be held accountable. Yi Wudao rode forward alone, and coldly looked at the city walls. Nangong Yi, immediately release Tianlang, I only want the lives of Chu Tian's group. Nangong Yi revealed an awkward expression. Yi Wudao's strength was at the 5th awakened soul layer, and Nangong Yi's 4th awakened soul layer would be hard to deal with. Not to mention, Yi Wudao had brought many experts with him. In the wolf cavalry, there were at least 40 to 50 awakened soul experts. This was more than all the awakened soul experts in Tian-Nan city combined. Nangong Yi could only give in, I'll release Yi Tianlang, and you'll release Chu Tian. You need to understand your situation. You don't have the qualifications to bargain with me. Yi Wudao's voice was as sharp as a blade, and he raised his right hand high up, and loudly ordered, Wolf Fang mercenaries. Prepare to attack the city. The mercenaries all released their spirit energy. In an instant, their aura increased by several times. Nangong Yi's expression changed, this fellow was too overbearing. Without a single word, he wanted to attack the city. People of Tian-Nan city, listen up, the Wolf Fang mercenaries will attack the city in 10 seconds. He purposely used his spirit energy to spread his voice throughout the city. I'll give you 10 seconds to do as you please. For every second that passes, when the city is breached, kill 100,000 people. 10. 9. 8. Like a terrifying death knell, it rang in everyone's hearts. Yi Wudao's voice spread throughout the entire Tian-Nan city. This time, everyone was almost paralyzed with fear. Kill 100,000 people for every second that passes? If he counted it in 10 seconds, wouldn't he have to kill 1,000,000 people? Although in this world, the weak were like grass, killing half a city at once, with such a large number, wasn't he afraid of arousing public anger in southern Xia? People still underestimated the cruelty of the Ye family, people still underestimated how terrifying Yi Wudao was. Nangong Yi's face became very ugly. Yi Wudao, you want to massacre the city? You're crazy. Yi Wudao sneered without saying a word, and started counting down, 6. 5. The soldiers on the city wall all put down their weapons in fear. We surrender. Don't kill me. Seeing this, Xiongbing felt very helpless. He clenched his teeth. Mayor, there's no other way, we can't do anything about it, let's just let them go. Damn. Why hasn't Chu Tian arrived yet? Nangong Yi clenched his fists and clenched his teeth as he said, no. Yi Tianlang is in our hands, he might have some misgivings. If we give them up, with Yi Wudao's personality, Tiannan City will not be spared. Yi Wudao's voice became more and more fierce, like a demon beast roaring. 4. 3. 2. 1. The countdown ended. Maybe it's because I haven't appeared in a long time that people have forgotten my methods. Yi Wudao revealed a cruel gaze and pulled out a long blade from his waist. Pointing it high into the sky, he loudly roared, then I'll show you. Our Wolf Fang mercenaries are powerful. Break through the city. Kill. The wolf cavalry soldiers immediately erupted. Like a large field of beans being scattered, or like a blue wave, the wolf cavalry soldiers collectively charged forward. Yi Wudao's face was fierce. I want everyone to know that the consequence of offending the Ye family is to pay the price in blood. Not good. Xiongbing and Nangong Yi's faces changed. When the wolf cavalry soldiers were about to break through the city walls, suddenly, a strong fluctuation came from somewhere in Tiannan City. This was an ancient and mysterious power. Like a demon god that had been sleeping for billions of years, suddenly awakened. At this moment, the sky changed color, all the gods retreated and all the living beings trembled. Woo woo woo. The originally aggressive wargs suddenly seemed to have sensed something. They stopped moving forward at the same time and began to tremble. Their mouths emitted waves of fearful whimpers. What's going on? Kill. Quickly kill them for me. Yi Wudao angrily urged the wolf mounts. However, even his mounts were the same. That mysterious and unknown ancient consciousness made these demon beasts unable to resist. The mounts of the Wolf Fang mercenaries had all undergone strict training. Even if they met a demon beast that was several levels higher than them, they would not be so scared that they could not move. What was going on? Boom, boom. Above the blue dome of heaven, countless crimson lightning streaked across the void, and black clouds gathered in Tiannan City. It was like the end of the world. A huge figure was suddenly projected into the endless void. The moment everyone saw the figure, their minds went blank, as if they had been petrified. What kind of existence was this? It was a primordial demon god with 9 eyes. While everyone was lost in thought, the 9 eyes opened and swept across the wolf cavalry soldiers outside the city. Then the huge figure disappeared. Ao ao ao. Thousands of wolf mounts howled as if they had gone mad. They jumped around and ran away in panic. The mercenaries could not control their mounts and they all fell to the ground. The whole scene was a mess. In just a few minutes, the entire wolf cavalry army was in a state of disunity. The wolves had all escaped. Yi Wudao flew into a rage. What did you do? Nangong Yi and Xiongbing looked at each other, unable to explain what had happened. That terrifying demon god had only appeared for 2 to 3 seconds, but it had destroyed the entire wolf cavalry army. Ha ha ha. I'm quite punctual this time. A laugh came from behind. When the two looked over, they saw Chu Tian and Meng Qinggu walking over slowly. Behind them were Zhang Liqing and Xiong Tianyan. Nangong Yi did not know why, but when he saw Chu Tian, he let out a sigh of relief. You're finally here. You've already broken through. Chu Tian's temperament had undergone a big change. His whole person became more mysterious and profound. There was no doubt, he had broken through. Now Chu Tian had surpassed the body refinement realm and was an awakened soul cultivator. Not only Chu Tian, even Meng Yingying and Meng Qingguo had broken through to the awakened soul realm. This speed was too shocking. Also, what was with the heaven and earth phenomenon? Was it caused by Chu Tian's breakthrough? Chapter 106. The process of body refinement is to open up the meridians of the body, allowing spiritual energy to enter the body and refine it into spirit energy. This is the most basic stage of foundation building, and the awakened soul realm is the first step of cultivation. When a cultivator reaches the peak of the 9th body refinement layer, they can give birth to a source spirit. The new source spirit is in a dormant state until they step into the awakened soul realm, then the source spirit will truly awaken. The moment the source spirit awakens, although it wasn't as earth-shattering as when it was first born, it still created a phenomenon. The demon god opened his eyes. The world changed. In this short moment, a terrifying pressure was released. That terrifying pressure instantly rushed out of the city, causing the wolves to panic and collapse. The wolf riders that the Ye family was so proud of were actually unable to withstand a single blow. Chu Tian. Yi Wudao was so angry that he almost went crazy. Chu Tian looked at the scattered Ye family mercenaries and laughed, ha, ha, ha. How strong are the Ye family mercenaries? They're just a motley crew, collapsing before the battle even starts. As the head of the Ye family, not only did you give birth to a trash son, you also brought a group of weak subordinates. It's really been hard on you. Chu Tian, you're going too far. Going too far. Chu Tian coldly snorted and loudly shouted, Yi Xiong has occupied Tiannan City for 10 years, domineering and cruel, killing countless people. Why don't you think he's going too far? The Ye family's trash son overestimated himself, single-handedly causing trouble in Tiannan City. Why don't you think he's going too far? You old dog, for your son didn't hesitate to attack the city, taking your anger out on the common people. Why don't you think he's going too far? Everything was done by Father Chu Tian. If you have the ability, then come at me. What kind of ability is venting your anger on others? This is a sign of incompetence. Chu Tian walked to Yi Tianlang's side and casually hooked his finger. Xiong Tianyan poured a bucket of water on him, instantly waking Yi Tianlang up. Yi Tianlang looked around in fear. Father, save me. Yi Wudao clenched his fists and roared, good. I'll give you one more chance. Release Tianlang immediately. I'll take your life today. Unrelated people will not be implicated. Otherwise, the Wolf's Fang mercenaries will definitely start a massacre. Ha ha ha. It's not up to you. Chu Tian took out a long whip and said, You Ye family people don't have a good upbringing. Your son is so unbearable. Since that's the case, I'll teach your son a lesson for you. Yi Wudao glared at him and roared, How dare you? Chu Tian shouted, Lao Xiong, take off his pants. Yi Tianlang roared in shame and anger, No, no. Without any explanation, Xiong Tianyan took off Yi Tianlang's pants and exposed his bare butt to the thousands of Wolf Fang mercenaries outside the city walls. Pa! Chu Tian lashed out with all his might. That white butt was immediately beaten until it was lacerated. I'll let you be arrogant. I'll let you be domineering. I'll let you slaughter the city. Chu Tian continued to wave his whip and slapped Yi Tianlang's butt several times, turning it into a bloody mess. Crazy. This brat was crazy. The infamous Wolf's Fang mercenaries. The infamous Prince Tianlang. This scene made the Ye family people go crazy. How was this hitting Yi Tianlang's butt? This was simply slapping the Ye family's face. Attack the city. Immediately attack the city. Yi Wudao lost all reason as he roared, Don't leave a single one alive. Kill them all. You can try. Chu Tian gave a cold laugh as he pulled out the netherworld sword from his back and pointed it at Yi Tianlang's neck. Whoever dares take a step forward, father will cut off their dog head. You dare. I don't dare. Now that it's like this, I don't think there's anything I don't dare to do. Yi Wudao's blood surged and he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Chu Tian laughed and said, anyways, when the city falls, I will die without a doubt. Since it's like this, what do I have to be afraid of? Yi Wudao, if you dare play with me, then I'll play with you until you're satisfied. Father isn't afraid of death. While Chu Tian was speaking, he raised his long sword high up. Yi Wudao angrily roared out, stop. A sword glow fell down. Yi Tianlang gave a pitiful cry, my hand. My hand. A severed arm was thrown out of the city. Yi Wudao quickly caught his son's severed arm. He saw the severed arm continue to bleed and he quickly poured spirit energy into it, trying to keep it alive. One was a cultivator and one was a martial artist. If he lost an arm, what kind of loss would that be? Yi Tianlang could not take this kind of loss, Yi Wudao could not take this kind of loss, and the entire Ye family could not take this kind of loss. Chu Tian pointed the netherworld sword at Yi Tianlang and said, I'll only give you 5 seconds, immediately retreat. Yi Tianlang roared out, impossible. Every second I count, I'll cut off one of his arms. After I cut off all his limbs, I'll cripple his cultivation and cripple his life. Yi Wudao, you only have this one son. If you don't want to die without descendants, then have your dogs scram out of South Sky City. 5. 4. Yi Tianlang gave a pitiful cry as another arm was cut off. It was thrown off the city walls. Violent, bloody, ruthless. This was truly a madman. Yi Wudao's heart turned cold. After all these years. This was the first time Yi Wudao had met someone crazier than him. Chu Tian would really kill Yi Tianlang, he wasn't afraid at all. Retreat. Everyone retreat. Yi Wudao's sorrowful and angry roar was like a wild beast's roar. The Ye family mercenaries revealed unwilling expressions, but there was no other way. The young master was in their hands and the other side was a ruthless person who did not care about his life. The Ye family mercenaries quickly retreated 1,000 meters away, leaving only Yi Wudao. Chu Tian laughed, that's more like it. Yi Wudao took a deep breath and gradually calmed down. His eyes were like a wolf's. Chu Tian, I admit that I've underestimated you. But do you think that just because you've captured my son, you've already won? Your actions have caused the entire city to suffer, don't you feel guilty? This Yi Wudao was trying to use psychological tactics. Because he could already see that Chu Tian was a person with strong principles. He would bear the consequences of his actions alone, and would never be willing to implicate others. Yi Wudao said coldly, it's useless even if you kill my son. My Ye family has thousands of children, how many can you kill? But if you kill my son, I'll immediately start a massacre in the city. Not even the chickens and dogs will be spared. At worst, the Ye family will just move to southern Xia. Chu Tian. You've really thought this through. Do you want the entire city to die with you? Nangong Yi, Xiong Bing and the rest were sweating profusely. Both of them were extremists. Now it had come to this. They really didn't know how to end this. Chu Tian wouldn't let Yi Tianlang go, and Yi Wudao wouldn't return without any results. No matter what the outcome was today, it would end in a life and death struggle. Yi Wudao said coldly, let him go immediately. I'll only kill you, and this is the last resort. If you continue to threaten me, even if I don't want this son, I'll still massacre the entire city. If Yi Wudao really didn't care about his son, he would probably give the order to massacre the entire city. Now that he hadn't given the order, it was impossible for him to massacre the entire city. Because based on what Chu Tian knew, Yi Tianlang was Yi Wudao's only son. Compared to the millions of people in the city, Yi Tianlang was more important to Yi Wudao. Massacre the entire city. If the Ye family really did something like massacring the entire city, there would be no place in the country to stand. That would be equivalent to giving up on decades of foundation, and they would have to leave southern Xia forever to wander somewhere else. This was the result of both sides suffering heavy losses. Yi Wudao had been in charge of the Ye family for many years, he wouldn't do this kind of thing. Chu Tian slowly raised the netherworld sword and the blade was covered in a cold blue glow. He slowly said, "Then let's give it a try." After saying this, Chu Tian's sword slashed at Yi Tianlang's neck. That sharp blade was getting closer and closer to Yi Tianlang's neck. Yi Wudao gritted his teeth, but his pupils quickly shrank. No, he definitely couldn't. Yi Tianlang had been raised by the Ye family with all their resources, he definitely couldn't die now. Otherwise, the entire Ye family would be broken and they would go downhill. Forget it. He couldn't care less about his face. Even if he couldn't kill Chu Tian today, he had to save Yi Tianlang. Chu Tian's lips curled into a cold smile. He knew that Yi Tianlang would definitely stop him, so at that time, the initiative would be in Chu Tian's hands. He could ask for any conditions, and even if he asked for a sky-high price, Yi Wudao would have no choice but to agree. But at this time, the sky was suddenly filled with wind and clouds. "Stay your sword." An incomparably terrifying aura came from the clouds, instantly locking onto Chu Tian. Chu Tian suddenly felt a mountain-like pressure, and his hands holding the sword couldn't help slowing down. Nangong Yi's expression changed, such a terrifying aura. Just what kind of god is this? In the air, there was a figure floating in the air, both feet stepping on a tornado. He wore a simple green robe and had a head full of grayish-white hair, giving him a unique and elegant style. From his appearance, he looked to be in his 30s or 40s at most, but his actual age was definitely much older. Elegant. Out of this world. It was as if a celestial had descended. Everyone couldn't help but tremble at the powerful aura. Shen Fengho. It's actually Shen Fengho. Above and below the city wall, all the military officers and even the Ye family mercenaries, when they saw this man, simultaneously knelt on one knee and shouted respectfully, "Greetings, Shen Fengho." Nangong Yi and Yi Wudao had no choice but to bow. Shen Fengho stepped on the tornado and slowly descended vertically. He looked at Chu Tian indifferently, and finally at Yi Wudao, who was below the city wall. Yi Wudao, sending troops to attack the city, how impressive. Although his voice was soft, it caused the clouds to move. It contained the pressure of heaven and earth. Cold sweat appeared on Yi Wudao's forehead. Even for someone like him, his hands couldn't help but tremble. This one was impulsive. "Please punish me, Shen Fengho." Shen Fengho said indifferently, "You were also anxious to save your son, I'll let it go this time." Shen Fengho sized up Chu Tian, a trace of admiration flashing in his eyes. For someone to be able to face his pressure without any change in expression, he really wasn't simple. This person was indeed as young as he had imagined. The Divine Wind Marquis revealed a faint smile. "Good courage. Another amazing person has appeared in Zhongzhou." The word fear didn't exist in Chu Tian's dictionary. At this time, Chu Tian couldn't tell if he was a friend or foe, so he frowned and asked, "Who are you?" Nangong Yi and Meng Qinggu all tensed up. Newborn calves are not afraid of tigers. There was no one in Zhongzhou that dared to speak like this in front of Shen Fengho. "This marquis is Feng Yuntian," Shen Fengho said. Feng Yuntian didn't seem to have any arrogance. "What's your name?" Everyone's jaws dropped in shock. The mighty Shen Fengho had actually announced his name to a youth. Chu Tian replied, "Chu Tian." "Good, Chu Tian, I'll remember you." Feng Yuntian looked at Yi Tianlang and said, "Today's matter ends here. Why don't you both give me some face and reconcile?" Chu Tian asked, "How do we reconcile?" "We'll write it off." Feng Yuntian said, "You let Yi Tianlang go and I won't allow the Ye family, Chu family, and Luo family to take half a step into South Sky City." Are you satisfied with this result? Chu Tian didn't believe it. They'll obediently listen to you. Feng Yuntian gave a confident smile and said, they'll at least give me some face. Yi Wudao, what do you say? Hate. Hate to the point of madness. Yi Wudao braced himself and said, Shen Fengho has personally come forward to mediate, so I won't pursue this matter any further as long as they release Tian Lang. Chu Tian thought for a few seconds. Chu Tian didn't know what kind of person Shen Fengho was, but this person's cultivation was unfathomable. Even Nangong Yi, who was born in the Nangong family, had to bow to him. This was enough to show that his identity wasn't simple. With this kind of person coming forward to vouch for him, he could only comply. Good. I'll release him. As soon as he finished. A small tornado appeared in Feng Yuntian's right hand, instantly lifting Yi Tianlang up and sending him to Yi Wudao's side. Too fast. Chu Tian was secretly shocked. This Feng Yuntian was very strong, he could actually directly save Yi Tianlang from Chu Tian's hands. The reason why he would mediate was actually to help him, but why? This matter ends here, I hope you'll take care of yourselves. Feng Yuntian's figure flashed, instantly disappearing into the blue dome of heaven. He suddenly appeared, then suddenly disappeared, as if he had never been there. Chu Tian, you can spend the rest of your life in Tiannan City. Yi Wudao reattached his severed arm to his son, then hatefully looked at Chu Tian on the city wall and loudly roared, return to Central State. The Wolf Fang mercenaries were like a tide, quickly retreating from Tiannan City. This earth-shattering conflict had finally come to a complete end. Chapter 107. With Yi Wudao's defeat, the soul-shaking crisis was over. As for Nangong Yi, who had broken through to the fourth awakened soul layer, he had now been promoted to an official elder of the Nangong family. Chu Tian, Meng Yingying, and Meng Qingguo, with Nangong Yi's guarantee, had become a guest official of the Nangong family. From now on, they would have the halo of the Nangong family and would enjoy the protection of the Nangong family, ensuring their safety to a certain degree. Nangong Yi felt that Chu Tian was too lucky, within the Central State territory, to dare insult Yi Wudao like this and come out unscathed. This brat is the first. Chu Tian was actually a bit hesitant in his heart. Yi Wudao must hate me to the bone, how do you know he won't make a comeback? This person has the strength of a 5th to 6th awakened soul layer cultivator. If he wants to take revenge on me, just being a guest official of the Nangong family is not enough. Chu Tian wanted the guest official status mainly because he killed Yi Xiong. Yi Xiong was a normal elder, or rather a normal elder with a good performance. Killing him would anger the Ye family, but was it worth offending the prestige of the Nangong family to take revenge? The Ye family had to carefully consider this. This time, the situation was completely different. Chu Tian and the Ye family would not rest until one of them was dead. Chu Tian had captured Prince Tianlang alive and ruthlessly humiliated him, making Yi Wudao lose all his face. With his wild and overbearing personality, could he really swallow this? Nangong Yi confidently said, with Shen Fengho personally mediating, no matter how much Yi Wudao hates you, he won't dare publicly deal with you. You can be assured of this. What is Shen Fengho's background? You're from the Central Province, how could you not know about Shen Fengho? When Nangong Yi mentioned Shen Fengho, his eyes were filled with admiration. Shen Fengho, Feng Yuntian is a famous hero of Southern Xia. He was famous for his military exploits in the past and was later bestowed the title of Shen Fengho, becoming one of the 8 marquises of Southern Summer. The Southern Summer country has 8 marquises. You should understand what this means. Nangong Yi glanced at Chu Tian and said, Southern Xia has a total of 8 prefectures and counties, which can be divided into 8 marquises. Each marquis will oversee a prefecture or county. The place where Shen Fengho and Feng Yuntian were enfeoffed is precisely Zhongzhou County. Chu Tian was shocked, the entire central province is under his control. That's not it. Shen Fengho has a simple personality and does not like to fight for power. Therefore, he gives his power to others and lives a leisurely life. However, just based on Shen Fengho's reputation, the large and small families of Central State will not dare disobey him. The 8 Marquises of Southern Summer. Shen Fengho was one of them. Even if Feng Yuntian was placed in the entirety of Southern Xia, he was still a first-class character. Chu Tian had made this matter too big, even bringing out Shen Fengho. It was no wonder when Shen Fengho opened his mouth, Yi Wudao immediately withdrew his troops, not daring to bring up the matter of revenge at all. This was because strength was absolute. Shen Fengho's cultivation was number 1 in Central State City. Not giving face to Shen Fengho. Wasn't this seeking death? Shen Fengho's whereabouts were usually mysterious. Not many people were lucky enough to see Shen Fengho's true face. He had almost become a legend in Central State City. This time, he personally went out to mediate the conflict. How could people not have wild and fanciful thoughts? Yi Wudao had promised to write it off, so he definitely did not dare to risk offending Shen Fengho. If he acted rashly again, the Chu family and the Luo family would also become especially cautious. Since he had Shen Fengho's care and had become a guest official of the Nangong family, what was there to worry about? At the very least, in a short period of time, these families would not make a move again. Chu Tian's reputation would go up another level because of this. The scene of Chu Tian holding Prince Tianlang in front of countless Ye family mercenaries, ruthless and tyrannical, was deeply imprinted in people's hearts. Rather provoke the king of hell. Do not provoke Chu Tian. When Chu Tian returned to his residence, the messengers from the big and small families of Tiannan City were walking around in an endless stream. The Du family has sent a congratulatory gift. The Li family has sent a congratulatory gift. The Black Horse Commerce has sent a gift. The Fierce Tiger Mercenary Group has sent a gift. All kinds of gifts, like snowflakes floating in the air, the Meng Qinggu sisters were extremely busy. Miracle commerce from nothing, in less than a month, it had now become a large force, and even became the pillar of Tiannan City. When the Meng Qinggu saw the mountain of gifts, she once again felt like she was in a dream. More than a month ago, Nanyun commerce was isolated and helpless, without any background, unable to find any backing. They were trembling with fear and cautious, afraid of offending any company. In more than a month, the 2 sisters had completed a magnificent transformation, becoming awakened soul cultivators respected by tens of thousands. One by one, the targets that Nanyun Commerce had tried their best to curry favor with, now not only came to send gifts, they bowed and bowed, their faces full of respect, simply wishing they could kneel down to the 2 sisters. The 2 sisters had depended on each other for many years. When had they ever received this kind of honor and respect? Miracle commerce had become strong. Nanyun commerce had become strong. Meng Qinggu and Meng Yingying had both become strong. No one in Tiannan City dared to look down on the 2 sisters anymore. When Chu Tian returned home, he repeated Nangong Yi's words. Meng Qinggu did not find it strange at all, because Meng Qinggu already knew of Shen Fengho's existence. He was a godlike existence. No one in Central State dared to go against his will. Even if it was a wolf-like person like Yi Wudao. Meng Qinggu was finally relieved and began to prepare for the expansion of the company. We have 50,000 lamps, of which 80% are normal lamps, the rest are large lamps, portable lamps, etc. Now that the time is ripe, I think it's time to introduce light bulbs to the citizens of Tiannan City. Tiannan City had prepared for a long time. The lamp factory was becoming more complete. Miracle Commerce had the initial production capacity, it could start selling. These business matters, Chu Tian did not like to care, he only thought about the Tianjin Chamber of Commerce's nether flame grass. As long as the nether flame grass was delivered, Chu Tian would be able to practice the netherworld flame sword. Money was just a worldly possession, it could be earned at any time. Strength was the foundation of one's life. Chu Tian could not lower his guard just because there was Shen Fengho's mediation. Even if Yi Wudao did not dare to do it openly, wouldn't he use other methods to plot against him? The electric lamp's profits are very large and the market is also very large. Not only will it cover cultivators, it will also benefit the general public. Not only will it bring us a large amount of income, it will also help Miracle Commerce establish a good reputation. Chu Tian said this and then suddenly paused. I'll teach you the source energy battery manufacturing technology. As for the distribution and promotion of the electric lamps, you'll be in charge of it. The source energy battery technology had always been kept a secret. Although Miracle Commerce had secretly mined crystal oil, it had not publicly promoted the source energy battery. Meng Qingguo had the heavenly book source spirit, so her learning speed was very fast. With Chu Tian's explanation, Meng Qingguo had already memorized the level 1 battery manufacturing technology. Meng Qingguo proudly said, "Relax, I'll strictly guard the battery manufacturing technology." Chairman! Chairman! A guard quickly ran in. There are 2 people outside, they claim to be from the Tianjin Chamber of Commerce. Chu Tian's heart filled with joy. After waiting for the stars and the moon, it had finally come. Chu Tian quickly went out to meet the other side. Who would have thought that when he saw these people, Chu Tian would be stunned. The 2 people's faces were covered in blood, their bodies were injured in 4-5 places, and their armors were in tatters. One of them, Chu Tian recognized. Wasn't it Jing Hu? Chu Tian quickly asked, "What happened to you guys?" After Jing Hu entered the city, he had already heard of Chu Tian's deeds. It wasn't until this moment that he realized how terrifying Chu Tian was. Put on. Jing Hu directly kneeled on the ground and moved in front of Chu Tian. With a crying face, he said, "President Chu, please spare us. We were escorting the goods out of Central State, but we met a group of bandits on the way and they stole the goods." What? Chu Tian's mouth went crooked from his anger. "You lost the goods. Didn't I tell you to secretly rhyme?" Jing Hu repeatedly apologized. "We definitely didn't leak any information, no one knew that the goods were delivered to Miracle Commerce. Those bandits were just a coincidence, it was purely an accident. Do you think I'm stupid? A few bandits ran out, how could they steal Tianjin Chamber of Commerce's goods?" This couldn't be blamed on Chu Tian, no one would believe it. Jing Hu personally escorted the goods and Jing Hu was an awakened soul cultivator. No matter where an awakened soul cultivator went, they would always be an aloof existence. Now it was good. A few bandits that jumped out from who knows where, actually managed to beat Tianjin Chamber of Commerce into a sorry state. If these bandits were this strong, then Central State would have already fallen into chaos. Chu Tian, don't be anxious. First clearly explain what happened. Meng Qingguo saw that Jing Hu didn't seem like he was lying. She was also very anxious about losing the goods because in this batch of goods, not only was there the nether flame grass that Chu Tian needed, there were also materials that Miracle Commerce needed, like the 3 lives demonic insect for refining the qi refining pill. If the goods were lost, it would be a big loss. Jing Hu carefully described what happened. When the Tianjin Chamber of Commerce's caravan didn't arrive, when they passed by a small city called Yellowstone City, they suddenly met several fierce bandits that wanted to steal the goods without any explanation. Jing Hu resisted and began to fight with them. Who would have thought that the other side's strength would far surpass his imagination? The leader of the bandits was very strong, at least at the peak second awakened soul layer. Moreover, he cultivated an unknown evil cultivation technique that was incomparably strong. I couldn't beat him, so I abandoned the goods and ran for my life. I came to South Sky City to report. Were the bandits really this strong? Since they were this strong, why were they still bandits? Chu Tian paid special attention to a key piece of information. You said they cultivated an evil cultivation technique? What kind of evil cultivation technique is it? Jing Hu revealed an expression of fear. I don't know what kind of evil cultivation technique it is, I've never seen it before. I don't think it's a cultivation technique from Central State, but it's very strong. The origins of these bandits were not simple. Because there were too few clues, Chu Tian didn't know if these people were related to the families in Central State. Meng Qinggu asked Chu Tian, "What do you think?" Chu Tian shook his head, "It's hard to say, I'll personally go take a look." Meng Qinggu was a little worried as she said, "Isn't it too dangerous to leave South Sky City now? What if this is Yi Wudao's trap? The possibility isn't high, the time doesn't match. But your current identity is very sensitive. Relax, I'll leave the Yin corpse in the city. I'll use the old method to travel, this way no one will recognize me." This batch of goods was more important to Chu Tian than Meng Qinggu had imagined. Chu Tian needed to disguise himself and investigate. Chapter 108. Yellowstone City was an ordinary city under the jurisdiction of the Central State main city, but it was surrounded by barren mountains, inconvenient transportation, and lacking resources. Yellowstone City was very poor compared to South Sky City. There were few families, few merchants, few people, and few cultivators. This was his first impression of Yellowstone City. After Chu Tian arrived at Yellowstone City, he could not understand. This kind of poor and isolated city, how could there be so many tyrannical bandits? Chu Tian was dressed like a traveler. He wore a plain gray robe and a tattered bamboo hat. He carried an ancient sword in an ordinary wooden scabbard on his back. Once again, he had changed his appearance and appeared as Lu Ren. Chu Tian made some changes to his appearance, adding some stubble, and making his skin a rough and dark yellow, making him look a bit older, like a wandering 24 or 25-year-old youth. Where should I start investigating? At this time, the little white fox stuck its furry head out of his clothes, its sparkling eyes swept around, and it pointed its little paw in a certain direction. A few soldiers pasted a large official document on the dilapidated public notice wall. Many citizens had already gathered around out of curiosity. An officer loudly announced, "Latest news! Latest news! The mayor's palace has issued a red-level high-danger mission, urgently looking for awakened soul realm experts. The reward is 300,000 gold coins." The officer opened his mouth. The citizens all cried out in surprise. A 300,000 gold coin mission. Not to mention Yellowstone City's economy was not developed, even in South Sky City, 300,000 gold coins was not a small amount. Yellowstone City's mayor's palace was this generous, this mission was definitely not a small matter. A group of bandits appeared in the Black Wind stronghold, recently they have been robbing large caravans. Several elite scouts were sent out, but none of them came back alive. The mayor finally couldn't hold back and began to recruit awakened soul realm experts. Isn't this too extravagant? How could it not be? That group of bandits plundered an astonishing amount of resources. As long as the mayor can take down the Black Wind stronghold, he will be rich. Weapons, cultivation techniques, wealth, everything. Yellowstone City is small and poor, there aren't many awakened soul realm cultivators, who would be willing to participate in this kind of mission. Not necessarily, there will be brave people with great rewards. The citizens were still discussing in front of the official document. Chu Tian directly went to the mayor's palace and signed up for the mission as an awakened soul realm rogue cultivator. The city lord of Yellowstone City, Yan Wuyang, was an old man who looked to be in his 50s, but his actual age was said to be in his 60s or 70s. His body was stooped, his hair was gray, and he held a long staff in his hand. He was sitting in a cold and quiet hall covered in dust. He was old, ugly, and short. They were both city lords, but Yellowstone City obviously couldn't do it. Yan Wuyang coughed twice and interrupted Chu Tian with a hoarse voice. "What's your name?" Chu Tian cupped his fists and said, "I'm called Lu Ren, a rogue cultivator at the First Awakened Soul Layer. I've come to participate in Sir Mayor's bandit suppression operation." Yan Wuyang narrowed his eyes as he stared at Chu Tian. He wanted to see through Chu Tian, awakened soul realm rogue cultivators are all famous, why haven't I heard of you before? Chu Tian replied, there are several dozen cities under the jurisdiction of Central State, it's impossible for the mayor to know all of them. I'm not famous, it's normal for the mayor to not have heard of me. Yan Wuyang coldly said, this excuse won't convince this mayor. This mission is very important, if you don't have a clear background, how could I let you participate? Who knows if you're a spy sent by the Black Wind Stronghold? I've been cultivating in the mountains since I was a child, I rarely come out to the secular world. I've only recently awakened my soul, so I came out to gain experience. Chu Tian pulled out a document token, I've been a guest of the mayor's palace in South Sky City for a period of time, this is the mayor's palace's seal as proof. This identity was forged by Nangong Yi for Chu Tian. Yan Wuyang looked over it a few times and his face relaxed a bit, you've been Mayor Nangong's guest, what is your relationship with Mayor Nangong? When I was Mayor Nangong's guest, I was only at the 9th body refinement layer, so I didn't receive much attention, so I've never talked to Mayor Nangong. Who is your master? Do you have any friends or relatives? What did this damn old man mean? Why did he keep asking questions? My master has already passed away, I like to be alone, so I don't have any close friends or relatives. Good. You've passed. Yan Wuyang gently clapped his hands. A maid came out with a tray, on the tray was a pile of shiny gold cards, this is 150,000 gold coins, it's considered an advance payment, the other half will be paid after the mission is over. If you can eliminate the bandit group in one fell swoop, this mayor will give you other rewards. Chu Tian did not place 100,000 gold coins in his eyes, he only cared about the Miracle Commerce's supplies, when can we start? We'll start tonight, other than you, we've already recruited many awakened soul cultivators, you can all get to know each other. Chu Tian met with the other awakened soul realm experts. Yan Wuyang was not simple. Yellowstone City was so poor, but they still managed to recruit over 10 awakened soul cultivators. Most of them were like Chu Tian, they had just broken through to the awakened soul realm, so they weren't that strong. There were 4 people with the highest strength, Yan Jun, Lin Mu, Fang Han, and Huang Haohan. Yan Jun was from the same clan as the mayor, he was the general of Yellowstone City and was currently at the 2nd awakened soul layer. The other 3 were said to be the founders of a new mercenary group in Central State. The mercenary group had just been created, so they needed money. The reward for this mission was very high, so they came all the way here to participate. Chu Tian sized up the 3 young mercenaries. They weren't even 30 years old yet, so they could be considered young talents. Lin Mu and Fang Han were both at the 2nd awakened soul layer. Huang Haohan was a bit weaker, only at the peak 1st awakened soul layer. As for the other awakened soul cultivators, they had the same status as Chu Tian, they were all rogue cultivators. Chu Tian stood among them, his appearance was average, his cultivation was average, he didn't attract the slightest bit of attention. A full awakened soul lineup. It couldn't be said they weren't strong. But it also showed that the bandits weren't simple. Yan Wuyang sat on the mayor's throne and solemnly said to Yan Jun, I want you to lead everyone to infiltrate the enemy's rear and disturb the Black Wind Mountain stronghold. If the situation allows, it's best if you can kill the bandit leader. As long as you succeed, this mayor will lead the army to support you. Once the bandit leader is killed, the army will immediately attack. Yan Jun cupped his hands and said, this lowly general obeys. Everyone received a secret report that recorded the terrain, the number of enemies, and their strength. Is everything clear? Yes. Remember, the bandits aren't weak and there are a lot of them. Don't stay in the enemy's lair, otherwise you'll be surrounded by the bandits. Yan Wu slowly stood up. His small body seemed a bit crooked as he gave a few soft coughs, be careful, go. Yes. Sir Mayor. Everyone confidently walked out of the mayor's palace. Chu Tian walked at the back of the group. At this time, the little fox came out of his clothes and waved its little claws, gesturing at Chu Tian a few times. You can also see it. Chu Tian and the little fox's sparkling eyes looked at each other. This is not a simple task, but it doesn't matter, I have the strength to protect myself. Let me see what this is all about. The little fox used its claws to stroke its chin like Chu Tian. It nodded its head and went back inside. Night fell. In the depths of the mountain range, there was a steep valley. The terrain was very complicated and the location was very hidden. It was a place that was easy to defend and hard to attack. This was the Black Wind Stronghold's headquarters. If Yellowstone City's army directly attacked, they would suffer heavy losses. So the best method was to send out a few experts and sneak into the bandits' lair. They would first kill the bandit leader and cause chaos among the bandits. The army would then take advantage of this weakness and attack from the outside. Yan Jun observed the terrain and said, "In front of us is the bandits' stronghold. We'll think of a way to sneak into the stronghold, but remember not to alert anyone. You guys go from the side. In around 15 minutes, there will be a patrol team passing by. Eliminate them and don't get discovered." Yes. So. 4 afterimages flashed out. The 4 awakened soul rogue cultivators split into 2 groups and moved out. Chu Tian looked over. The entire stronghold was silent, not even a single torch was lit. It was shrouded in a black fog, giving people a very strange feeling. The little fox let out a few squeaks, as if it was warning Chu Tian. Chu Tian took out a corpse core for it to eat and rubbed its head. "Relax, it'll be fine." The others were hiding behind a small hill, waiting for the best opportunity. "Hey, don't you think it's strange?" Fang Han was the first to break the silence. He said to the others, "Where did these bandits come from? With such a large stronghold and so many bandits, the locals don't know anything about it." Huang Haohan said this and then suddenly added, "I bet there's definitely a problem." Lin Mu also nodded. He was the leader of the mercenary group, he was famous for his bravery and had a strong personality. "What are you afraid of? We have over 10 awakened soul cultivators, even if we're discovered by the other side, what can they do to us? We'll just kill a path of blood. Since we've taken the money, we'll complete the mission." Fang Han and Huang Haohan looked at each other and nodded. Chu Tian observed the actions of the 3 young mercenaries and secretly shook his head. "Young people, their spirit is too strong and they're not steady enough. Being a mercenary is a profession that dances on the edge of a blade, with high profits and high returns. If they're this reckless, even if they're strong, it'll be hard for them to survive." After around 10 minutes, the awakened soul cultivators that were sent out came back. Their bodies were stained with blood. "It's already been taken care of. Good job." Yan Jun gently waved his hand and said in a low voice, "The Black Wind Bandits patrol will start with a congratulatory message. This is a good opportunity, let's go in." Yan Jun seemed to have studied the Black Wind stronghold for a long time. So he was very clear about the Black Wind stronghold's defenses. His orderly command gave the others confidence and they no longer had any worries. Over 10 black-clothed figures jumped out from their hiding places like lightning. They silently passed through the Black Wind Stronghold's pass. Finally, without alerting anyone, they smoothly sneaked into the Black Wind Stronghold. Chapter 109. The valley was deep, the terrain was complex, and it was surrounded by boulders. It was very suitable for setting up sentries, which increased the difficulty of sneaking in. Fortunately, these dozen people were all strong awakened soul cultivators. If there was even the slightest movement, even the sound of breathing, they would be able to feel it. A small patrol was silently killed by Lin Mu and Fang Han. All the corpses were hidden in the boulders and their clothes were stripped off. Everyone put on the thief's clothes. This will help us infiltrate further. The Black Wind Stronghold has several thousand thieves and each one of them is strong. If we alarm them, it will be troublesome, so we'll attract as little attention as possible. The dozen people changed into the Black Wind Stronghold's clothes. The stronghold was dark, so with their disguises, it was much easier to move around. Very good. So far it had been very smooth. Now that they were close to the center of the camp, the infiltration mission had been completed. Everyone felt a lot more at ease. As long as they created chaos here, the bandits would fall into chaos and the mayor would take this chance to attack. They would definitely be able to destroy the entire stronghold in one go. Lin Mu looked at Yen Jun with an inquiring gaze and said, "How about it, do we launch a surprise attack now?" Everyone else prepared themselves for battle. Over 10 awakened soul cultivators, going deep into the enemy's stronghold was enough to turn the world upside down. The mayor has given the order, if the situation permits, it is best to kill the bandit leader. So far our infiltration has been very successful, so instead of launching a surprise attack, it would be better to kill the leader. Kill the leader. Lin Mu, Fang Han, and Huang Haohan, the three mercenary group leaders, looked at each other. All right, we'll kill the bandit leader and earn a merit. They had already made their decision, so the other rogue cultivators did not have any objections. At this time, a cultivator jumped down from a high place. "I've observed the tents in the valley. In the center, there is a large tent that is heavily guarded." "That's right, it must be the main tent." Yen Jun did not even think before saying, "The bandit leader must be inside." Target locked, begin. Everyone's eyes flashed with excitement. This mission didn't seem too hard. A dozen awakened soul cultivators secretly launched a sneak attack, first killing the bandit leader, then setting fire to the entire camp. The entire bandit group would collapse. There's no harm in waiting. Just as everyone was about to move, a voice rang out. Everyone looked at the ordinary-looking young man. He was the last person the city lord had recruited. From the beginning to the end, he hadn't said much and was almost ignored by everyone. There's something wrong here. Chu Tian narrowed his eyes and looked around the tent. He suddenly reminded, "I suggest that we don't act rashly. If you're scared, then get lost to first transformation." "That's right, let's go." At this critical juncture, they were about to kill the thief and gain merit, but Chu Tian just had to drop the ball. Naturally, this aroused everyone's dissatisfaction, and their words were a little sharper. Yen Jun frowned and said, "There are more than 10 of us and we have the advantage of a sneak attack. What is there to be afraid of? No matter how powerful the bandit leader is, we still have a chance to retreat." Chu Tian shrugged his shoulders. "I think I'll be in charge of providing support. I'll leave the main attack to you guys. If something unexpected happens, you'll be able to react." Yen Jun was very dissatisfied. General, we don't have time to waste. We've killed quite a few people along the way, and those corpses will be discovered sooner or later." Lin Mu looked at Chu Tian with a bit of disdain in his eyes. "Let him stay here and provide support." Fang Han continued, "That's right, time waits for no man." Yen Jun frowned and thought for a few seconds, then snorted, "All right then. Let's move." "Coward, you can stay here. What a waste. Why would the city lord recruit someone like you?" Chu Tian was left alone. Everyone began to move, quickly entering the camp and spreading out, slowly surrounding the main tent. The patrolling guards were silently killed one by one. In the end, the dozen or so cultivators successfully surrounded the main tent. Yen Jun began to gesture. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Move. The awakened soul cultivators attacked at the same time. Cold ice spike. Fang Han's body was covered in ice, turning into a several-meter-tall ice giant. His palms slammed into the ground and several incomparably large ice spikes shot out from the ground, freezing the entire main tent. Lin Mu released his source spirit. It was a 10-meter-long giant willow tree, fiercely taking root in the ground. Lin Mu's body was covered in green spirit energy, his palms suddenly pushed out. Several hundred willow trees suddenly broke out of the ground, like dense arrows. They continuously shot into the ice, riddling the entire tent with holes. Go die. Huang Haohan jumped up high, releasing an incomparably large source spirit. It looked like a super fan. Huang Haohan's palms heavily slammed down, the super fan source spirit heavily pressed down. The ice was completely shattered. The entire ground caved in. Ice giant source spirit, monster willow source spirit, and giant fan source spirit. The three young mercenaries were so powerful that the others had a whole new level of respect for them. The other cultivators also unleashed all of their abilities. All kinds of powerful attacks landed on the tent. The huge tent was instantly torn apart, and the entire ground caved in. Lin Mu stared at the deep caved-in ground, a smile hung on his face. Even if it's a triple awakened soul expert, in this kind of unprepared situation, being attacked by so many of us, they will die without a doubt. Let's go take a look. Feng Han and Huang Haohan ran over, quickly inspecting the area. Lin Mu anxiously asked, "How is it?" "This is bad. We've been tricked. There's no one here." Huang Haohan looked at the giant pit. He couldn't help revealing a look of shock. Lin Mu's heart was filled with fear. "General." He turned around to look for Yan Jun, but Yan Jun was no longer there. No one knew what had happened. "Where's General Yan? Wasn't he here a moment ago?" "This is bad. There's a problem here. We need to quickly retreat." When everyone realized the danger, they quickly retreated. Who would have thought that before they could even move, an incomparably large source energy array would appear from the ground? Everyone felt their source spirits become weak. This is a restriction array. This is bad, my spirit energy has been sucked away. Everyone revealed a look of fear. At this time, from the surrounding tents and corners, over 100 black-clothed men holding long blades charged out. It was as if they had been lying in ambush, waiting for this group of people to fall into their trap. This was a trap. Lin Mu's young face was filled with anger, especially when he saw the leader of the black-clothed men. He angrily shouted, "Yan Jun! You've harmed me!" "Ha, ha, ha, ha!" A wild laugh came from not far away. Yan Jun's figure once again appeared. His face was filled with a sinister look, as if he had turned into a different person in the blink of an eye. With a fiendish smile, he said, "It's your reactions that are too slow." Feng Han's eyes swept over the surrounding black-clothed men, then he looked at Yan Jun, revealing a look of disbelief. You're the leader of the Black Wind Stronghold." Yan Jun laughed and said, "Wrong. It's the vice leader." "Vice leader?" Then the leader was. An even stronger aura appeared. A black-clothed old man covered in black killing intent slowly walked out. His body was small and he held a long staff in his hand. "City Lord. It's you." The rogue cultivators were all shocked. What was going on here? Yellowstone City Lord Yan Wuyang, Yellowstone General Yan Jun, was the leader of this group of bandits. Why would he do this kind of thing? Recruiting experts to attack his own forces? Didn't he have nothing to do after eating his fill? Yan Wuyang faced the angry crowd. His eyes did not waver at all. He coldly asked, "Why is there one missing?" "That Lu Ren is not here." "Humph, is this how you do things? Quickly capture him, we can't let him live today." "Relax, he is just an awakened soul cultivator, he is not a threat at all, I can easily capture him, this subordinate will go and capture him." Yan Jun cupped his hands and turned to leave. Lin Mu regretted not listening to Chu Tian's warning. But he could not understand, why would the city lord do this kind of thing? Yan Wuyang was the city lord, he was in charge of a city with over 1 million people, his status was already very high, why would he need to kill a caravan? If this matter was exposed, it would be a complete loss of reputation. Because the caravans Yan Wuyang had hijacked, there were many large families in Central State, even the 4 great families. This kind of matter was enough to make Yan Wuyang's entire family fall into eternal damnation. The thing that people could not understand the most was, since the Black Wind Bandits were Yellowstone City's city lord, why did he recruit experts? Why did he hire mercenaries and rogue cultivators, deliberately tricking them into a trap? These people did not have any conflicts of interest with him, not to mention any grudges. What was his motive for doing this? Yan Wuyang, why are you doing this? Lin Mu did not think that he would be this unlucky. This was his first time doing a large-scale mission and he was sold out by his employer. Yan Wuyang coldly looked at the people trapped in the large array. You don't need to know why. You just need to understand one thing, you must die here today, the sacrifice has already reached the last step. Now you are missing the souls of an awakened soul cultivator to complete everything. So for you to die here, it is your honor. Bullshit. Everyone kill your way out. Yan Wuyang disdainfully said, want to escape? Being trapped in this large array, your spirit energy has already been sucked dry, you can't even use your source spirit, do you think you can escape? Kill. Lin Mu and Fang Han led several rogue cultivators to charge forward. Although their spirit energy had been sucked dry by the large array, their battle strength was not bad. Once the two sides came into contact, they immediately killed a row of black-clothed men. Capture them alive. Yan Wuyang forcefully waved his hand and countless black-clothed men charged forward like a pack of wolves. Lin Mu wildly roared as he charged at Yan Wuyang, thief, die. Overestimating yourself. Yan Wuyang gave a cold snort and released countless black fog from his body. Just like a fierce demon, he released a thick killing intent as he charged at Lin Mu. This is a demonic art. Lin Mu gave a cry of horror as he completely lost consciousness. Chapter 110. Chu Tian could see that there was something strange about this camp. In fact, when he first saw Yan Wuyang in the city lord's mansion, Chu Tian could feel a faint demonic qi wrapped around Yan Wuyang's body. It was caused by cultivating some kind of demonic art. Under normal circumstances, Chu Tian would not care about it, but thinking of Jing Hu's description of the bandits, this matter was not so simple. Demonic arts? What was demonic arts? Demonic arts generally referred to some cultivation techniques that used very bloody and cruel materials, such as the blood essence of living beings, or the souls of living beings, etc. Demonic cultivators often had a strong killing intent. As their cultivation technique deepened, they would become irritable and easily angered, even bloodthirsty and cruel. There was a risk of losing themselves and going berserk. Therefore, even though demonic arts were very powerful, there were not many people who cultivated them. The mysterious bandits were a group of people who cultivated evil cultivation techniques, and the city lord of Yellowstone City also cultivated demonic arts. How could there be such a coincidence? Whether or not there was a connection between the two, there was no way to make a judgment. After sneaking into the Black Wind Mountain stronghold, Chu Tian discovered the hidden array in the camp. Only then did he completely realize that everything was a trap. No wonder Yan Wuyang only wanted rogue cultivators. No wonder Yan Wuyang only wanted young mercenaries without any background. Even if these people died or went missing, it would not cause too much of a commotion or trouble. Chu Tian had seen through Yan Wuyang's scheme. Although he had hinted to Lin Mu, who knew that this group of hotheads would not listen to him and would instead mock and ridicule him. There was no other way, he could only retreat. The array has been activated. I'm afraid those fellows are in danger. Chu Tian felt a tremor from afar. The battle had definitely started. Lin Mu's group's battle strength would be suppressed by the sealing array. It was impossible for them to escape from this trap. This was troublesome. Whether these fellows lived or died, Chu Tian did not care. Who told these idiots not to listen? Chu Tian could completely leave, but the problem was that the Miracle Commerce's goods were being detained by this group of people. If he left, what would happen to the nether flame grass, 3 lives demonic insects, and electromagnetic crystal stones that were worth millions. 1 or 2 million gold coins were nothing. The problem was, whether it was the nether flame grass or the 3 lives demonic insect, they were all rare materials. Even with the Tianjin Chamber of Commerce's channels, it was impossible to collect another batch in a short period of time. If this was delayed for 10 days to half a month, it would have a significant impact on miracle commerce. Time is money. While Chu Tian was hesitating outside the Black Wind's stronghold, ha 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 ha. I finally found you. A powerful aura came from the night sky, as if a terrifying ghost had suddenly attacked. Chu Tian's lips curled into a cold smile. His right hand twitched. The netherworld sword was unsheathed. The blade glowed with a dazzling sword light as it suddenly tore through the void, leaving behind a purple sword light. Dang! The black shadow was sent flying several meters. Yan Jun's saber was cut in two and he couldn't help revealing a look of shock. My weapon is a high-grade spirit weapon, it's a very powerful treasure sword. Under the moonlight, the netherworld sword was like a 10,000-year-old ice, not moving at all and not being damaged at all. Chu Tian was wearing a simple blue robe and his right hand held the sword, pointing it at the ground. His eyes were as calm as water as he looked around and said with a faint smile, chasing after me alone, this is not a rational thing to do. Ha, 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 ha. Yan Jun laughed into the sky. His eyes gradually turned red and his body was filled with demonic chi. You think that with a divine weapon in your hand, you can defeat me? I'll let you understand just how stupid that is. Yan Jun's spirit energy condensed into the shape of a giant blue ape. With the support of his source spirit, his strength instantly increased and his muscles inflated like they were being inflated. His entire body became larger. Four-armed ape source spirit. The four-armed ape was a very powerful spirit beast. This kind of spirit beast was born with 4 arms. Not only was it very strong, its body was like diamond. The most powerful part was that the four-armed ape was a rare spirit beast that could cultivate a part of a human's cultivation technique. Yan Jun had the four-armed ape source spirit. Not only did his offense and defense increase, his cultivation technique also increased, so his battle strength was not small. Chu Tian stared at the four-armed ape source spirit and his brows slightly knit together. Although I don't know what demonic cultivation technique you're cultivating, I have to say that this demonic cultivation technique is wrong. It can increase your strength by a large amount for a short period of time and it has an immediate effect, but it is actually killing the goose that lays the golden eggs. You've been used by others. Ha, 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 ha. You think I'll believe you? Die under my fist. Yan Jun's thick fist was covered in a layer of black chi. His entire fist turned a jet black color and it looked like a fierce ghost was wrapped around his fist. Howling ghost fist. The berserk energy suddenly blasted towards him. Chu Tian raised his sword to block the fist and the wild energy poured out. It was like a giant stone falling into the water, causing the surrounding soil to ripple. The soil was pushed several meters away, leaving behind a large ripple. This sword can absorb my strength. With Yan Jun's full strength attack, normal spirit weapons would have already been destroyed. The sword in this person's hand, not only did it block Yan Jun's attack, it also absorbed most of Yan Jun's strength. When the remaining strength was transferred to Chu Tian's body, there wasn't much left. This was the strength of the netherworld sword. Actually, the netherworld sword was not just a sharp weapon, it was also a very good defensive tool. Chu Tian loudly shouted. Sword! The moment the demon god's sword source spirit was released, the netherworld sword was infused with the power of the source spirit. The sword glow instantly increased and its strength increased by several times. Yan Jun was directly sent flying by a terrifying strength. Yan Jun revealed a look of dread. Such a strong source spirit aura. There were many people in Central State that had a sword source spirit, but he had never heard of this source spirit before. This sword source spirit was stronger than any source spirit he had seen before, it was even comparable to the legendary god-level source spirit. For a cultivator with this kind of source spirit, it was not hard for them to jump levels. It was a dangerous sword. It was a dangerous source spirit. Even if this person did not cultivate a top-grade cultivation technique, just based on these two things, he could not be underestimated. Yan Jun's expression became serious. You do have some skill, but with just this bit of skill, you can't deal with my holy religion's heavenly demon art. Heavenly demon art? Chu Tian shook his head. What kind of nonsense is this? Don't waste time. If you want to fight, then let's fight. Humph. I'll let you see the true strength of the heavenly demon art. Yan Jun suddenly raised both of his arms, and his expression became even more ferocious. His skin rapidly turned jet black, and incomparably demonic stripes crawled all over his body like tadpoles. Finally, they solidified and turned into a deep purple, like a tattoo. Chu Tian revealed a serious expression. Your spirit energy is at least twice as strong, it actually increased this much. When Yan Jun fully cast out his cultivation technique, his body was enshrouded in malevolent dark purple totem carvings. The color of his skin gradually turned black, and the demonic chi shrouding his body gave off an eerie feeling. The little fox sat on Chu Tian's shoulder, swaying its large white furry tail. Its pair of sparkling eyes revealed a look of disdain. Your time of death has come. Yan Jun's legs stomped on the ground and he disappeared. Actually, he did not disappear, but rather he moved so fast that it gave people the illusion that he had disappeared. So fast. Chu Tian could not see it with his naked eyes at all. When he came back to his senses, Yan Jun had already appeared behind him. A palm came slashing down like a steel blade, attempting to pierce through Chu Tian's body. At this critical moment, the little fox suddenly sniffed and a strange thing happened. The demonic chi in Yan Jun's body seemed like it could not be controlled as it came out of his pores and was instantly absorbed by the little fox. Yan Jun was shocked. This fist-sized little beast was not eye-catching at all, so he did not pay attention to it from beginning to end. He never would have thought that this little beast would have this kind of ability. Glass body. Chu Tian's body was instantly covered in a layer of transparent glass like starlight. When Yan Jun's hand blade fell on it, there was an ear-piercing sound and large cracks appeared on the glass, but it completely withstood it. A terrifying power was reflected back. The bones in Yan Jun's hand broke into several pieces. With a pitiful cry, he flew out and heavily fell to the ground. You're not completely useless, you little thing. Chu Tian looked at the little fox in a new light. He had indeed underestimated his opponent a bit. There were many good cultivation techniques in this ancient era, and the heavenly demon art was a cultivation technique that overdrew one's potential, but it was stronger than he had imagined. If the little fox had not absorbed most of Yan Jun's demonic chi, even if Chu Tian had not been killed, he would have been heavily injured. The little fox gave a sneeze and stood up on its two legs. It raised its claws in a very human manner and revealed a very proud and disdainful look. This is for you. Chu Tian gave it a corpse core and the little fox happily hugged it and began to eat it. Yan Jun fell to the ground and had already lost his battle strength. His face was filled with fear as he shouted, "What kind of cultivation technique is that? It can actually jump levels to block my heavenly demon art." Yan Jun was very clear on the power of his attack. Even if half of his demonic chi had been absorbed by the mysterious spirit beast, at least half of his strength remained. Even a cultivator of the same level would find it hard to block it. This person was clearly a cultivator that had just stepped into the awakened soul realm, but he could still block it and even heavily injure him. This kind of heaven-defying defensive power was simply too terrifying. His source spirit was clearly a sword and a sword source spirit was a pure attack source spirit, it did not have any defensive power. Unless he practiced a top-grade defensive cultivation technique and practiced it to the large success realm. How could Yan Jun know? Chu Tian's starlight immortal body had just reached the small success realm. Heavenly demon art. Although it increases one's battle strength, it squeezes out one's potential and harms one's enemy. In the end, it is just a small path and cannot be considered elegant. After saying this, the sword in his hand fell and the head fell to the ground. Yan Jun had been killed. Chu Tian looked in the direction of the Black Wind's stronghold and muttered to himself, how did these people learn this ancient demon art? Just what kind of experience did they have? This matter has become interesting. The bandits in the Black Wind's stronghold should be the elites of Yellowstone City's army. If I go in alone, I'm afraid I won't be able to defeat them. The little fox put down the corpse core and pointed in a direction with its claw. You want me to go this way? The little fox nodded. Chu Tian followed the little fox's direction and went around the patrolling Black Wind's stronghold bandits. Not long after, he found a giant cave in the depths of the valley. The cave went straight to the ground. There were several masked black-clothed bandits guarding it. A thick demonic aura slowly rose from the pitch-black cave. Chu Tian's keen senses told him that this mysterious demonic cave should be related to these people. When Chu Tian was prepared to go in, a sound came from not far away. He quickly restrained his aura. Yen Wuyang walked in front. There were 8-9 people covered in injuries and they were being guarded by a large group of black-clothed bandits. They were slowly being escorted over. They were all captured. Go in. Yen Wuyang forcefully brought Lin Mu and the others into the pitch-black demon cave. Chapter 111. What was at the bottom of the devil's den? Even if he tossed aside his curiosity, he had not gotten back the items from Miracle Commerce, so he had to go down and investigate. Only, there were more than 10 black-clothed men guarding the devil's den, and each one of them was not a simple character. All of them had the strength of the 9th body refinement layer. If Chu Tian wanted to kill them, he would need to expend some effort. Even if he stuck an invisibility talisman on him and sneaked in, one man and one sword would not be able to kill them all without a sound. There were thousands of bandits in the Black Wind stronghold. If he did not move quickly, he might poke a hornet's nest, and Chu Tian would not be able to find out the secret of the devil's denver. There was no other way. He could only use it. Chu Tian walked out from the stone he was hiding in, swaggering in the direction of the devil's denver. Because Chu Tian was wearing the clothes of the Black Wind stronghold bandits, the black-clothed men were stunned, unable to identify him. Kay pulled out his weapon at the same time and shouted, "Where are you from? This is a forbidden area, don't you know? Scram, otherwise I will take your life." Bang! An invisible pressure suddenly blossomed. A malevolent silhouette appeared behind Chu Tian, as if a primordial demon god had descended into the modern world, an ancient and eternal aura, enough to make anyone's heart tremble. The malevolent silhouette disappeared in a flash. Chu Tian's closed eyes opened, and his pupils turned a strange silver white. His left eye was silver, and his right eye was white. 7 pupils appeared in his eyes, 1 in the middle, and the other 6 around it like flower petals. Each pupil had a different color, and when they overlapped with each other, it was like a strange flower had bloomed. The moment the black-clothed men saw Chu Tian's eyes. Bang! At that moment, the entire world collapsed with a loud rumble. They pretended to lose consciousness and fell to the ground at the same time without making a sound. Their brains stopped working and their hearts stopped beating. Although there were no wounds on the inside or outside, they could not be more dead. In just a short moment. The entire process did not even take half a second. Chu Tian glanced at them, and they were all killed. Pain, pain, pain. My head hurts. Chu Tian's face became somewhat pale as he used his hand to rub his forehead. He took a few deep breaths and slowly recovered his wits. He took out a complete Yuan essence grass from his pocket and swallowed it whole, allowing his Yuan power to quickly recover a portion of it. Every time he used his main source spirit, the burden on his mind was too great. With large amounts of meteor grass refining his body, Chu Tian's meridians were several times stronger than a normal person's, and his spirit energy was much stronger than others of the same level. Even in this kind of situation, using his main source spirit to attack, he could only complete a single attack. The consumption was too great. His body was almost completely squeezed dry. The little fox let out a whimper and its furry body curled up. Its sparkling eyes revealed a look of shock and fear. Now you know how powerful I am. Let's see if you still dare to be dishonest in the future. The little fox returned to normal and bared its fangs at Chu Tian as if it was protesting at Chu Tian. Chu Tian ignored it and swaggered into the demon's cave. This should be an ancient ruin, but it wasn't that old, probably only several hundred years old. There were long stone steps that led downwards, and on the left and right sides of the stone walls, there were demonic totem carvings that released a strange aura. When he reached the end of the stone steps, a dark and gloomy hall appeared in front of Chu Tian. Treasure chests were piled up in every corner of the hall. Gold, silver, jewels, and weapon materials were scattered all over the ground, making it seem like a treasure cave. Damn, he finally found it. Chu Tian found that among these materials, there were many flags of merchant caravans. It was clear that they were stolen goods. There was a deep pool of blood in the center of the hall that was filled with thick blood. It was like it had a life of its own as it slowly wriggled. Yellowstone City's mayor, Yan Wuyang, led 20 black-clothed bandits to the side. Yan Wuyang's face was filled with awe and worship as he knelt in the center of the hall. He bowed his head to the ground as he muttered something, as if he was communicating with someone. Suddenly, he stood up and waved his right hand, "Send them down." The black-clothed man walked into the group of women and children. "What are you doing? Let me go, quickly let me go." Huang Haohan and the other 3 rogue cultivators were dragged out of the group of captives by the black-clothed bandits and pushed into the blood pool. The black-clothed man and Yan Wuyang shouted at the same time as they kowtowed. "My lord, please accept my sacrifice." Lin Mu and Fang Han's eyes popped out as they shouted, "No." The 4 of them were thrown into the blood pool, but they did not sink, rather they floated on the surface. The thick blood water seemed like it was alive as it poured into their 7 orifices. The 2 of them continued to twitch as their life force and spirit energy quickly disappeared. Their skin quickly dried up and their bodies gradually aged. Chu Tian held the netherworld sword as he hid in the corner. Seeing this scene, he couldn't help tightly knit his brows. The blood pool seemed to be able to swallow a person's life essence and life force. It was very powerful. Not bad, not bad, the blood essence and life essence of an awakened soul cultivator is really delicious. As long as I swallow these awakened soul cultivators, this one will be able to awaken. The materials and wealth we've plundered these days will become the capital of the holy religion. You've done a meritorious deed by reviving this one, you've done a meritorious deed by the religion, naturally you will receive your reward. A hoarse voice came from the blood pool. This voice was dry and sharp, like it was made from rubbing stone, making people feel uncomfortable. Yan Wuyang excitedly kowtowed, "Thank you, branch master. We will go through fire and water." "What are you looking at? Quickly throw these people in." "Wait." The voice from the blood pool slowly sounded out, "You seem to have let a little mouse in." Yan Wuyang was surprised as he immediately turned around and shouted, "Who is it?" Chu Tian slightly knit his brows. This old demon's divine sense was not weak. He wanted to launch a sneak attack, but who would have thought that as soon as he entered the main hall, he would be discovered by the other side. It's fine. Since he was exposed, there was no need to hide anymore. Chu Tian walked out from behind a pillar in the corner. "Mayor Yan, we meet again." Lin Mu, Fang Han, and the others were all stunned. Was this little brat stupid? He had managed to escape with great difficulty, but he actually took the initiative to come back. Yan Wuyang clearly did not expect to see him. "Where's that rice bucket, Yan Jun?" Chu Tian laughed and said, "What are you so anxious for? I'll send you back to your reunion." Yan Wuyang angrily roared out from shame, "Go, kill him." The 20 black-clothed bandits pulled out their weapons and turned into 20 black shadows. From different directions, they all attacked Chu Tian at the same time. These 20 people were all at the 9th body refinement layer. Under normal circumstances, they were enough to deal with a first awakened soul layer cultivator. Hyperfocus. Chu Tian entered hyperfocus and everything in the world suddenly slowed down. Every movement of the black-clothed man was clearly grasped in his mind. The demon god sword source spirit appeared. Chu Tian charged out with the netherworld sword in his hand. The beautiful sword glow was like a ray of light, quickly passing through the black-clothed bandits. Not a single one of them could block this sword. Chu Tian passed through the 20 bandits, finally stopping in the middle of the main hall. Putong, putong. The black-clothed bandits fell to the ground one by one, they were all killed with a single slash. It was simple and clean, without any hesitation. Yan Wuyang's pupils slightly contracted. Hyperfocus? That rice bucket Yan Jun really died in your hands. Chu Tian stared at the blood pool for a long time. Huang Haohan and the other cultivator had already turned into dried corpses. This pool of blood essence, I'm afraid it took at least 2,000 body refinement cultivators to refine it. Chu Tian's eyes gradually became cold to the bone. Killing so many innocent people for your own benefit, are you not afraid of retribution? Every man for himself will be destroyed by the heavens. Yan Wuyang revealed a crazed expression, I'm already over 60 years old and have been the mayor of this small city for 20 years. I once thought that I would live my entire life like this. This world is so vast, this world is so wonderful. Southern Xia is just a drop in the ocean and a person lives their entire life in this small city. I'm not willing. It was the branch master who gave me a chance. He allowed me to cultivate the strange cultivation technique of the Tianma cult. He gave me a chance to be reborn. A frog at the bottom of a well like you, how could you understand my feelings? Chu Tian gave a sigh. Everyone had their own destiny. But, he could understand Yan Wuyang's feelings. In such a wonderful world, in such a vast world, Yan Wuyang was destined to be a lowly ant. He would only be able to walk around in a small place for the rest of his life. He wanted to go out, to go further. Was this wrong? That's right. Wasn't Chu Tian the same? Chu Tian's dream, Chu Tian's pursuit, was actually the same as Yan Wuyang's. He fantasized about breaking through the boundaries that could not be broken and seeing a new world. This was a desire that came from the depths of his soul. Yan Wuyang's skin gradually turned pitch black. Large amounts of runes appeared all over his body. It was like an ancient evil totem was being tattooed on his body. Chu Tian slightly knit his eyebrows. The runes on this person's body were even more dense and complex. He was afraid that his cultivation of the heavenly demon art was even higher than Yan Jun's. Yan Wuyang himself was at the peak second body refinement layer. Now that he had the power of the heavenly demon art, his strength would probably increase by another level. Become a sacrifice for the Tianma cult. Yan Wuyang's right foot fiercely stomped on the ground. Red and white spirit energy rose from his body and condensed into the image of a fierce two-headed ape. Chu Tian revealed a dignified expression, ice and fire from the same source. Dual attributed source spirit. Yan Wuyang's two-headed ice and fire ape source spirit was a spirit beast that had two different attributes. Yan Wuyang also practiced two different attributed cultivation techniques. Even if he practiced an ice and fire attributed cultivation technique, he would not be rejected. His battle strength was very shocking. Not to mention that Yan Wuyang had the support of the heavenly demon art. His strength in all aspects had increased by a large amount. He was almost at the level of a triple awakened soul expert. Chu Tian did not have a strong enough cultivation technique. With his trivial first awakened soul layer cultivation, it would be very difficult for him. almost in an instant. Yan Wuyang's small body suddenly doubled in size. He turned into a strong giant. He turned into a black shadow and instantly appeared in front of him. His left fist condensed with cold energy as he punched out. Starlight immortal body. Chu Tian's body condensed starlight as he held his sword in front of him. Yan Wuyang's fist directly hit the blade and the cold ice instantly froze the blade. Roar! Yan Wuyang let out a wild beast-like roar. His other fist was covered in a dazzling flame as it slammed into the frozen blade. The power of ice and fire mixed together and created a large explosion. Chu Tian was sent flying like a piece of paper. He heavily slammed into a pillar and the entire pillar began to crack. But Chu Tian had the protection of the starlight immortal body, so he was not injured at all. Zhe. Yan Wuyang laughed, your cultivation technique is not simple. With such a strong defense, you indeed have the ability to kill Yan Jun. But against me, this defense is not enough. While speaking, the demonic qi on Yan Wuyang's body became stronger and stronger. It covered his entire body and it was like a fierce ghost that wrapped around his body. Those two fists were just probing. Now he would go all out. With the experience of fighting against Yan Jun, Chu Tian was very clear that once Yan Wuyang used his full strength, his speed would reach a level that the naked eye could not catch. Before Chu Tian could even react, he would be killed by the other side's fist. If the naked eye could not catch it, then there was no need to use the naked eye. Chu Tian closed his eyes. Mind's eye, open. When Chu Tian opened his mind's eye, he instantly saw through Yan Wuyang's body. His power composition, his cultivation technique, his spirit energy circulation, and even his weaknesses were all exposed to Chu Tian's eyes. Mind's eye. A surprised voice came from the blood pool. Die. Yan Wuyang did not care about that. He brought along the sky filled with demonic qi, one fist of ice and one fist of fire. Both fists came together and he used his strongest strength to attack Chu Tian. Fox, it's up to you. The little fox received the order and stood up from Chu Tian's shoulder. It forcefully took a deep breath and the demonic qi on Yan Wuyang's body was instantly sucked out by the little fox and swallowed into its stomach. Yan Wuyang was shocked, what is this? It actually broke my demonic cultivation technique. Chu Tian's body was filled with spirit energy and the demon god sword source spirit appeared. It filled the netherworld sword with a large amount of power and the purple-red sword glow suddenly increased by several times. 1 step. 2 steps. Chu Tian took 2 steps forward. Yan Wuyang's weak points and flaws could not escape his mind's eye at all. The bright sword glow swept out. Yan Wuyang's fire and ice fists were still sent out, creating 2 large holes in the ground, but he could not hit Chu Tian. His eyes popped out as he revealed a look of disbelief. I actually lost? Impossible. A red line appeared on Yan Wuyang's waist. Just like cutting through straw, his body was cut in 2 and he was killed on the spot. Until his consciousness faded away. He did not dare believe that he would lose. Chapter 112. Dang! Dang! Several shattering sounds rang out. Chu Tian cut off the shackles on Lin Mu, Fang Han, and the others. Lin Mu revealed a look of gratitude, I can't thank you with words, I will repay you with 10,000 deaths. This place is quickly surrounded. Chu Tian gave some yuan essence grass to these people, take these elixirs and quickly recover your spirit energy. We can't stay here for long, prepare to kill our way out. A few random dogs really can't be relied on. The blood pool in the center of the hall began to boil, and a tall figure floated up from it. In an instant, an extremely terrifying aura surged out, as if the entire space was soaked in blood that made people want to vomit. Young man, your potential isn't bad, it would be a pity to kill you. Now that the sacred religion needs people, if you choose to rely on me, this one will accept you as a direct disciple and teach you the true demonic arts of the sacred religion. There will be endless elixirs and wealth. That tall figure was completely naked and covered in sticky blood. His entire body was like a half-melted wax, and his facial features were almost indistinguishable. Only a pair of scarlet eyes could be seen. Lin Mu and Fang Han were stunned. What was this thing? There was a creepy feeling. This fellow had clearly been dead for several hundred years. Now that he had revived in front of them, how could they not be shocked and terrified? Ha, 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 you should really look at yourself in the mirror. Chu Tian faced the blood person's pressure and did not feel any fear at all. Rather he taunted, you look like shit and you want me to be your disciple? Even if you don't think it's shameful, I think it's shameful, pay. Impudent. A terrifying pressure was suddenly released. Lin Mu and the others trembled as a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood appeared in front of them. The pungent smell of blood directly drilled into their minds, making their souls tremble. That oppressive feeling made it hard for them to breathe. Too terrifying, it was truly too terrifying. This aura had already surpassed an Earth Soul Realm expert, even surpassing an illustrious Soul Realm expert. This blood person was already a legendary True Soul Realm expert. The awakened Soul Realm was split into 3 stages. In the entire Central State, there were less than 10 known True Soul Realm experts. Just the aura of a True Soul Realm expert was enough to make a normal awakened soul cultivator's battle intent collapse. I am the leader of the Tianma cult. Weak people from small countries like you are not even considered as ants in front of me. The bloody man slowly rose from the blood pool completely, and the powerful pressure continued to oppress everyone. I saw that your aptitude was not bad, and I wanted to take you as my disciple, but you didn't know how to cherish it. Then go to hell. A furious murderous aura swept over. Everyone felt as if they had fallen into an ice cave. It's over, it's over. An existence comparable to a true soul realm expert had made a move. These people did not have the strength to resist at all. The bloody man swept his gaze over the others and said coldly, our sect is reviving, and it is time for us to use people. I'll give you all a chance to live. Everyone seemed to have seen a ray of hope. Who would want to die? Survival was a person's instinct. Facing this old monster from who knows how many years ago, these inexperienced people didn't even have the courage to resist. Kill him. Whoever can kill him will become a disciple of the great Tianma cult. The bloody man's cold and tempting voice reverberated through the main hall. This is the Tianma cult's peerless demonic technique that this one personally taught. With these words, everyone revealed a complex expression. This bloody man was in existence with a very high cultivation base. An old senior from several hundred years ago, the cultivation technique and resources he had were unimaginable. The cultivators here, if they weren't young mercenaries, they were normal rogue cultivators. To become an awakened soul cultivator, they all relied on opportunities. After becoming an awakened soul cultivator, they had already reached the peak of their life. Who didn't want to become stronger? Who didn't want to practice a stronger cultivation technique? Who didn't want to go to a new world? If they missed this chance, they might never encounter it again. Chu Tian saw their expressions change. This is just a trick, don't fall for it. The bloody man's tempting voice urgently rang out, do you want to be unknown for the rest of your lives? This once-in-a-blue-moon opportunity is right in front of you. As long as you pass this test and become a disciple of the Tianma cult, you can follow this one to roam the world and rebuild the glory of our sacred cult. The eyes of these people were already filled with fanaticism. This person was at least a true soul realm expert, and he had even broken through to the awakened soul realm. There weren't many people like this in the entire southern Xia. If they could follow this kind of peerless expert, wouldn't it be a great fortune? Don't be fooled by his appearance. This person was seriously injured several hundred years ago and was on the verge of death. He sealed his life force and sealed himself in ice until today. He used this kind of people like Yan Wuyang to collect materials to heal his injuries. His injuries have not completely healed and he is in a very weak state. Otherwise, if he had the confidence to kill us, he would have already made his move. Why would he waste so many words? The bloody man's expression changed. This fellow could actually see through this much. The bloody man was indeed one of the leaders of the Tianma cult. When he was on the verge of death, he used a secret technique to seal himself in ice, allowing his life force to continue. After Yan Wuyang opened the ruins and awakened this bloody man, the bloody man used this method to bewitch Yan Wuyang, making him kill countless civilians and 1,000 body refinement cultivators to refine a large amount of blood essence to heal his injuries and prolong his life. After a few months of recuperation, the bloody man's injuries were stabilized, but his vitality was greatly injured and his cultivation base had not recovered. He could only swallow the essence of awakened soul cultivators to restore him to his peak. Who would have thought that Chu Tian would suddenly appear? The bloody man was currently in a weak state, so he only had 1% of his peak strength. Lin Mu resisted the temptation of the bloody man and turned around to shout at the people beside him, "This is a bluff. He just wants us to kill each other. Everyone, don't fall for it. Peerless cultivation techniques, unlimited wealth, prestigious authority. As long as you follow this one, everything will be yours." The bloody man said word by word, "Are you sure you want to watch this opportunity slip away right in front of your eyes? Do you want to seek your own death? Kill, kill. Kill this fellow." These rogue cultivators all had red eyes and a pair of eyes filled with killing intent as they stared at Chu Tian. They had already forgotten who had saved them and who had helped them recover their strength. Fang Han stood up and angrily said, "This demon wants to absorb all of your essence. It was Brother Lu who saved us, but now you don't want to repay Brother Lu and even want to help the demon harm him. Don't you feel ashamed? Scram! Don't block us. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, even if you don't want it, we still want it." Fang Han and Lin Mu stood in front of Chu Tian, their faces filled with solemn expressions as they looked at these people. The bloody man used a few words to incite these people and let out a wild laugh, "Kill! Kill! Kill them! Every man for himself will be destroyed by the heavens. Step on their corpses and walk into a new world." Chu Tian shouted, "Block them, I'll go kill this ugly monster." "All right." Lin Mu and Fang Han gave a loud roar and immediately joined hands to block the rogue cultivators. Chu Tian raised his sword and passed through the main hall, directly attacking the bloody man. The battle was about to begin. Lin Mu and Fang Han's cultivations weren't bad, but 2 fists couldn't fight against 4 hands. They couldn't hold on for long, so Chu Tian had to quickly end this battle. "You want to fight this king alone?" As the blood person's spirit energy surged, an ear-piercing noise rang out. A giant blood-red Bat Yuan spirit came out of its body. When the blood-red Bat Yuan spirit was summoned, it immediately released a strong blood-red fluctuation in the surrounding space. Blood Demon Bat. Chu Tian's eyes narrowed and he immediately stopped moving. He pulled back and the blood-red fluctuation hit his body, instantly creating large cracks on his glass body. An ear-piercing spiritual wave directly entered his brain and cut off Chu Tian's consciousness. Chu Tian's eyes turned black and he almost fainted. So strong. The bat sound wave attack was a double attack that contained normal energy and spiritual energy. Chu Tian's starlight immortal body could barely block the energy attack, but he could not block the spiritual attack. Although this blood man's strength had not recovered, his battle strength was not inferior to a triple awakened soul's. With Chu Tian's current strength, defeating a peak second awakened soul layer cultivator was already a bit difficult, not to mention a triple awakened soul. The difference in cultivation was just too big. "I gave you a path to live, but you don't want to take it. Then you'll become this one's sacrifice." The blood man's bat source spirit released a vertical sound wave attack that sent Chu Tian flying several meters away. He crashed into several pillars, and even with the starlight immortal body's protection, Chu Tian still suffered heavy injuries. The worst thing was that this sound wave contained a spiritual attack that continued to deprive Chu Tian of his mobility. It made it so that Chu Tian could not dodge or resist at all. 10,000 bat devouring body. The bloody man raised his hands high, and the bat source spirit immediately disintegrated, releasing a thick blood mist, which instantly covered the bloody man's body. Countless scarlet bats the size of a palm were born from the blood mist, and like a blood cloud, they quickly covered Chu Tian. Once the blood-sucking bats landed on his body, they would instantly suck his blood essence dry. Scram! The demon god's sword appeared in a flash. The blood-red bats were all shattered and turned back into a blood fog that returned to the blood man's body. Chu Tian's starlight body continued to recover, and he returned to his strongest defense. The injuries he had just received were quickly healed. You recovered your consciousness this quickly? The blood man was a little surprised. It was reasonable to say that with a trivial first awakened soul layer, fainting on the spot from the bat's spiritual attack was normal. No matter how strong his consciousness was, it was impossible for him to recover this quickly. There was a problem with this brat's body. Chu Tian's main source spirit could counteract the spiritual attack. Therefore, the blood demon bat's spiritual attack did not affect Chu Tian at all. The blood man flew into the air and was surrounded by the blood fog, struggling at death's door. This one will take your little life now. There was not much spirit energy left in Chu Tian's body. The demon god sword source spirit continued to pour energy into the netherworld sword, and the netherworld sword's purple glow became stronger and stronger. 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters. The sword glow grew to 4-5 meters long. It was like a purple-red beam of light that contained an ancient destructive power that seemed like it could cut through anything in this world. This sword intent was this strong. This sword source spirit was not a small matter. This sword condensed all of Chu Tian's strength. Even if the blood man were to take it head-on, it would still be hard for him to block it. But the blood man was confident in himself. He cultivated the Tianma cult's blood transformation art. The cultivation process was very cruel, and it required large amounts of blood essence from living cultivators, but it could still attack and defend at the same time. The blood fog around him was formed from the blood essence of living beings and could condense a strong defense. He had absolute confidence that he could block Chu Tian's sword. Heavenly demon devouring blood. The blood man spat out a large amount of blood fog that instantly surrounded Chu Tian's body. The strong corrosive power continued to penetrate, and the starlight immortal body's defense was quickly weakened. As long as his defense was broken, Chu Tian would be killed by the blood poison. At this critical moment, the little fox suddenly jumped out and spat out a gray light at the blood man. When the blood man was covered by the light, the blood mist around his body flowed out like water and was sucked into the little fox's stomach. The blood man was shocked. What? Although he had noticed this spirit beast, he never would have thought that this spirit beast would have this kind of ability. Not only could it absorb the heavenly demon art's demonic chi, it could even absorb the blood transformation art's blood chi. These two demonic arts were the most important cultivation techniques of the Tianma cult. This little beast could restrain all the demonic arts in the world. The blood fog dissipated. Not only did it take away the blood man's defenses, it also took away the blood man's strength. The essence of the great art of blood transformation that the blood man cultivated was to circulate the power of his blood essence. When his blood essence was sucked dry, it was equivalent to his strength being sucked dry. He, who was already very weak, became even weaker now. No! Stop! The blood man gave a mournful cry. A 5-6 meter long giant sword glow slashed down from head to toe, cutting the blood man in half. This several hundred-year-old demon had actually died under Chu Tian's sword like this. Chapter 113. This great character from several hundred years ago was killed by a nameless youth with a single slash. This fellow had just stepped into the first awakened soul layer. This was a battle that jumped realms, and it was not just a small jump. Was he still human? He was simply a monster. When their dreams were completely shattered. These rogue cultivators all had pale faces and lost their will to fight. They were so scared that they wanted to leave the battle and escape. Lin Mu loudly roared, "Where do you think you're going?" Chu Tian shouted, "Don't chase a cornered enemy, forget it." This motley crew, Chu Tian did not place them in his eyes. Not to mention that Lin Mu and Fang Han's spirit energy was almost exhausted. "Brother, I've never admired anyone in my life, but you are definitely the first." Lin Mu said with an excited expression, "You killed the demon and broke the Yellowstone City's city lord's scheme. You've really done a great deed. You're going to be famous." Famous? Forget it. For a person like me, being famous is too easy, but being low-key is very hard. Don't be happy too early. Fang Han knit his brows and said, "The Black Wind stronghold is filled with Yan Wuyang's minions. We haven't completely escaped from danger yet." "What are you afraid of? We'll just join hands and kill our way out." Lin Mu looked at Chu Tian and asked, "Brother, what do you think? Leaving like this is too much of a loss." Chu Tian shook his head and said, "We were tricked by that old fool and almost lost our lives. Shouldn't we ask for some interest?" The two of them seemed to realize something and looked around. The ground was filled with gold, silver, and jewels, as well as equipment and materials. It was filled with a rich aura as it shined with an alluring light. If a normal person casually grabbed a handful, it would be enough to enjoy for a lifetime. Even for an awakened soul realm expert, it would be considered a large treasure. The little fox nimbly jumped up and turned into a cloud of gray mist in the air. In the next second, a head popped out from a pile of materials. It held a spirit fruit in each of its paws and began to chew on it with relish. The two spirit fruits that were as big as its body were stuffed into its stomach in 3-4 seconds, but its little body did not grow at all. Lin Mu and Fang Han were stunned. Just where did this little critter come from? That strange teleportation-like technique, coupled with his unbelievable appetite, made people look at him in a new light. At this moment, the sounds of battle rang out from above. The loose cultivators who had just escaped were fighting with the Black Wind bandits. The Black Wind bandits had discovered that something had happened down below and were definitely going to attack. If you bring out the branch leader's corpse and Yan Wuyang's head, that motley crew's morale will naturally collapse when they see these two things. Good idea. Most of the Black Wind bandits were Yan Wuyang's bodyguards. They followed Yan Wuyang and served the bloody men, which was how they were taught the demonic arts. When these bodyguards saw that Yan Wuyang was killed, and even their mysterious branch leader was killed, they knew that the whole thing had been exposed, and their morale would definitely collapse. Then, he took out a few of the leaders. Even if there were only a few left, the rest would not be able to pose a threat. Lin Mu and Fang Han carried the heads and left. Chu Tian was too lazy to participate in the battle. He first ate a few elixirs and recovered some of his energy. Then, he searched through the treasure chests in the hall for what he wanted. Found it. When he opened the huge cargo chest with the Tianjin Chamber of Commerce's logo, it was neatly placed inside. Many square-shaped crystal medicine boxes were neatly placed inside. Each box contained a complete black-red herb, surrounded by a fiery aura, as if the entire herb was burning. The nether flame grass was a young attribute herb that grew in the land of extreme Yin. The nether flame grass had a strong fire attribute energy, and the flame contained a dense black Yin aura. This caused the flame to contain a strong corrosive poison. If an ordinary person touched it, they would die immediately. This herb could be used in refining weapons, alchemy, and formations. Although the nether flame grass was not an elixir that took several hundred years to grow, it was still the same as the meteor grass. It had a very harsh environment to grow and it was very hard to cultivate, so it was listed as a rare herb. The nether flame grass was a level 2 material, which was a level higher than the meteor grass. Therefore, its price was very high, with each one costing 500-600 gold coins. It was almost enough to buy a level 1 elixir. This is great. It's a good thing these things are still here. The medicine box was specially made. Not only could it protect the herb, the runes could prevent the herb's medicinal properties from leaking, and it could also prevent the nether flame grass from being poisoned. There were several large boxes filled with nether flame grass. There were around 1,000 of them. The Spirit King bead had shrunk by 2/3. The 1,000-year nether flame source flame was very weak, like a candle in the wind that could be extinguished at any time. He had finally made it. If he had been a day or two later, this precious spirit flame would have completely disappeared. The value of the nether flame itself was very high. Not to mention a 1,000-year nether flame that had been refined by the Spirit King for 1,000 years and contained ghost energy. The value of this item was not lower than the netherworld sword. The nether flame wrapped around the Spirit King bead was slowly peeled off. Chu Tian used the starlight to protect his body, avoiding being burned by the dangerous flame during the process. This blue and white flame was around the size of a fingernail. It slowly pulsed in his palm, faintly letting out a ghostly howl as it released a dark and terrifying aura. The flame's temperature was not high, it even gave off an ice-cold feeling. Because the nether flame was a cold flame, it did not have a strong ability to burn materials, but it could burn energy. In theory, it was the nemesis of any protective spirit energy or defensive cultivation technique. After the Spirit King had refined it for 1,000 years, the nether flame had been bestowed with ghost energy, increasing its corrosive ability. Although it did not have the ability to burn materials, it could easily corrode normal materials. The flame contained the unique spiritual energy of a ghost, which could interfere with the enemy's mind. Corroding materials, burning energy, and interfering with the mind. The three-layered attack of material, energy, and mind was very strong. Let's first subdue it. Chu Tian's palm lit up and a large amount of spirit energy entered the nether flame. The dim flame violently pulsed a few times. The nether ghost flame had only been born for a few days, but it already had a weak consciousness, so it was instinctively resisting. It was a futile effort. The nether ghost flame was too weak, it could be extinguished at any time. How could it resist Chu Tian? Other than submitting, it had no other choice. His spirit energy easily seeped into the flame, controlling the core of the ghost flame. Just like any soul-contracting weapon, it firmly controlled the nether ghost flame. This blue and white flame was connected to Chu Tian's mind, moving as he wished. It lingered around his fingertip, deliberately avoiding hurting its master. Chu Tian nodded in satisfaction. This really is a good treasure. The nether ghost flame was a natural treasure. This so-called natural treasure was something that was naturally formed by the world. It did not need to be refined or processed, it was a kind of treasure that could be used. For example, there was a natural thing called the void gourd. It naturally contained a space and could be used as a storage treasure. There were many similar things. Chu Tian did not think it was a rare thing. The nether ghost flame's fire seed had already been activated and the flame was very weak, it could be extinguished at any time. In order to make it stronger, it could only be fed. Not every material could be refined by the nether ghost flame. The materials to cultivate the nether ghost flame not only needed to have enough energy, they also needed to have a unique attribute like the nether ghost flame. The nether flame grass was one of the best materials. Go! The nether ghost flame flowed out of his fingers and fell onto the surface of the crystal box. It was like a strong acid dripping onto it, it immediately released large amounts of dark green flames. It was like a thin layer of cardboard, easily corroding a small hole in the crystal box. The ghost flame entered the box and covered a stalk of nether flame grass. The herb quickly withered and large amounts of dark red energy leaked out from the herb, being swallowed by the nether ghost flame. After swallowing a stalk of nether flame grass, the flame became a bit brighter. The nether ghost flame split into two and burned through two crystal boxes. After swallowing 2 herbs, it split into 4 and swallowed 4 stalks of nether flame grass. In a quarter of an hour, 1,000 stalks of nether flame grass had been swallowed by the ghost flame. Good, good, good. This flame is really strong. Under the control of his mind, hundreds of small blue and white fireballs floated in the air, each one was the size of a fingernail. Chu Tian clasped his hands together. Countless specks of light gathered together, forming a fireball the size of a human head. The blue and white flames burned, but not only did it not release any heat, it made people feel very cold. Not to mention normal people resisting, just looking at the fireball would make their hearts palpitate and they would even have terrifying hallucinations. That cold and terrifying death aura made people's hearts tremble. It's too eye-catching to carry such a huge fireball around. Chu Tian controlled the fireball and revealed an awkward expression. I don't have a fire source spirit and I don't have a flame cultivation technique, where should I put it? With a natural flame source spirit, the spiritual flame could directly merge with his body. Mo Yen also had a flame control cultivation technique, so the flames could be stored in his meridians through his cultivation technique. Chu Tian did not have a fire source spirit and did not have a special flame control cultivation technique, so the netherworld ghost flame was like a weapon to him. Only this weapon was very special and could be stored in a normal container. Gee! The little fox kept gnawing on a piece of ginseng. It stretched out its little claw and pointed at the netherworld sword. Chu Tian asked in a surprised voice, "You mean you want to store it in the sword?" The little fox made a gesture with its little claw to show its affirmation. Chu Tian remembered that when he had subdued the netherworld sword, he had seen the netherworld sword's weapon spirit. Wasn't it just a burning monster? Perhaps the netherworld sword and the netherworld flame were born from the same body, but they were separated later on. Let's give it a try. The netherworld sword entered the flame. The netherworld flame seemed to be attracted by something and was immediately pulled in, merging with the netherworld sword. It made the sword even brighter and the veined patterns released a blue and white glow. As the flame flowed, it released an aura similar to that of a living being. The netherworld sword was not corroded, rather its aura became stronger. It really is like this. This sword's weapon spirit is the netherworld flame. Chu Tian gently waved it and the flames covered the sword. He revealed a surprised expression. This kind of innate spiritual object can also be used as a weapon spirit? The ancient refining techniques really do have their merits. After the netherworld ghost flame completely merged with the netherworld sword, the netherworld sword released a strange consciousness that gave Chu Tian a bit of enlightenment. At the same time, a mysterious energy entered Chu Tian's body from the sword. The demon god sword source spirit was automatically activated. Chu Tian could clearly feel his cultivation base increase. This was really interesting. Chu Tian raised the fire raised the sword raised the man, and the man raised the fire. Man, sword, and fire, the three merged into one. This was the essence of the netherworld flame sword. Chu Tian waved his hand. The edge of the cold sword tore through the void, and the runes lit up one after another. A beam of sword chi burst out, piercing through the center of a pillar in the main hall, directly cutting off a section of the stone pillar. Then, it landed on the sturdy wall, creating a huge crack. Chu Tian was shocked by the might of the sword chi. Even if it was a second awakened soul layer cultivator, it would not be easy to block it. This was a sword chi that Chu Tian had casually sent out. In other words, the might of a casual attack from Chu Tian was enough to threaten a second awakened soul layer cultivator. Why was it this strong? Not to mention a casual attack from a first awakened soul layer cultivator, even if they used their full strength, it would be hard for them to break the protective spirit energy of a second awakened soul layer cultivator. At most they would be heavily injured, but it would not be enough to threaten their lives. This was mainly because of three things. The first was the source spirit. Chu Tian's demon god sword source spirit contained a strong destructive power, so it could increase the might of his sword art. The second was the weapon. The netherworld sword was a soul-contracting weapon. Although it had been sealed for many years and its might had decreased, after fusing with the netherworld ghost flame, its might was still very shocking. The third was the sword art. This was something that any sword cultivator needed. The netherworld flame sword's specialty was its strong explosive power, its strange changes, and it excelled in assassination. Good. Very good. Chu Tian's battle strength had increased by several times. If he were to fight against the dog-shit heavenly demon branch lord now, even without the little fox's help, he might not lose. That's right. What about the little fox? Chu Tian was busy comprehending, but he had forgotten about the little fox. When he looked over, the mountain of herbs had already been emptied. A cute little white fox was sitting on the ground. It rubbed its round belly and gave a burp. With its 4 feet in the air, it laid down comfortably with a satisfied look on its face. Fuck. What the hell? It's all been eaten. You damn prodigal fox. Chu Tian charged over and grabbed the little fox's ear, fiercely lifting it up. You ate at least several million gold coins from father. The little fox did not feel guilty at all. Rather it stretched out its 2 little claws and made a face at him. So what if this fox ate it all? If you have the skills, then come and hit me. Chu Tian's temper instantly rose. See if I don't properly teach you a lesson. He really wanted to fight. The little fox trembled in fear. It knew that its master was not an easy person to deal with, so it quickly made a few gestures. What? There are other treasures here. The little fox pointed in the direction of the blood pond with its claws. Chu Tian looked over at the blood pond. Where the heavenly demon branch lord was healing, was there something good hidden there? Chapter 114. This little thing was very clever, who knew if it was lying or not? Without waiting for Chu Tian to ask anything, he felt his hand become empty as the little fox turned into a gray mist and disappeared. It directly teleported to the top of the blood pool and using some unknown method, it floated in the air without falling. Forcefully sucking in its stomach, it took a deep breath and the blood essence in the pool began to boil. Countless drops of blood began to float like there was no gravity, finally gathering into thousands of red streams that were all sucked into the little fox's mouth. In less than 10 seconds, the blood essence in the pool quickly dried up and was completely absorbed by the little fellow. This made Chu Tian stunned. How could a fox eat anything? What kind of skill did the little fox hide? Until now, Chu Tian did not know anything about his little pet. The little fox did not show any battle strength, but its teleportation movement was very suitable for scouting and escaping. Other than that, the little fox seemed to have an ability similar to the evil breaking beast, being able to restrain any kind of evil spirit. The little fox had just been born not long ago. Its skills were not limited to just this. Chu Tian thought of the fox-faced corpse king that had given the little fox to him. The fox-faced corpse king seemed to be the servant of a very strong existence in the distant past, so what was the sacred lord it mentioned? There was no use thinking about these things. He could only find out step by step in the future. When the little fox sucked in a large amount of blood essence, its snow-white body turned into a bright red color. But it only lasted for a few seconds before the bright red color was absorbed by its body, turning back into a spotless snow-white color. Gee. The little fox fell to the bottom of the blood pool and circled around a pile of things, indicating for Chu Tian to quickly come down. Chu Tian jumped into the empty pool and the little fox ran forward. Standing up, it used its claw to point at the pile of things beside it. An ancient cauldron, a dark red token, several ancient weapons, and a few black jade slips. These should be the items left behind by the Tianma cult's branch master. A small branch master had this kind of terrifying strength. When the Tianma cult was at its peak, it was not a normal power. A long spear, a pair of short blades, a broken blood-red robe, and a blood-red needle. These were the equipment left behind by the leader of the Tianma cult. From the quality of the materials used, the first three should be high-grade soul armaments. Their value was probably very high. A mid-grade soul tool was worth at least a few 100,000 gold coins. A better one could even reach 1,000,000 gold coins. A high-grade soul tool could reach several million gold coins. Therefore, it could be said that these things were originally very valuable, but because they hadn't been nourished for hundreds of years, the artifact spirits in these soul tools had already withered, and because of this, their value was greatly reduced. It was a very regrettable matter. This needle is interesting. Chu Tian picked up the blood-red needle. The needle was a few inches long and as thin as a cow's hair. It was hard to distinguish, and there was no fluctuation of a soul tool. It looked like an ordinary item, but Chu Tian did not dare to underestimate it. The material of this item was not simple. This thin needle was actually made from a material called blood-in steel. This material could not be formed in the natural world, and it required a very complicated method to refine. The process was bloody and cruel, but once it was refined, it would be very precious. This needle was made from level 2 blood-in steel, so it could ignore the spirit energy of any awakened soul cultivator. Whether it was the void soul, illustrious soul, or true soul, if they were unprepared, a single stab from this needle would definitely kill them. This was a good item that could ignore cultivation bases. Chu Tian did not have time to put it away. The little fox's black eyes rolled around and it suddenly grabbed the needle, swallowing it in a single gulp. Fuck. You're eating this thing. Spit it out. Spit it out for father. The little fox covered its mouth with its claws and its legs moved back a few steps to the wall. It looked up at its fierce master and firmly shook its head, showing an expression that it would rather die than submit. I think you're itching for a beating. It actually dared to steal its master's treasure. If you didn't properly teach it a lesson today, this little fellow would ride on father's head sooner or later. The little fox suddenly moved its claws away and with a sudden blow, a red afterimage disappeared. Chu Tian felt his cheeks turn cold and a few strands of hair fell down. Pang! A small sound rang out. There was a radial crack on the wall and there was a small hole in the middle of it. A thin needle slowly flew out from inside and this needle was covered in a layer of demonic qi. There were faint runes all over it and it was under the control of this power that it slowly returned to the little fox's side. The little fox reached out with its claws and the small needle was caught in its hand. Those eyes that could speak stared at Chu Tian and revealed a proud look, as if it was asking for credit. Fuck your grandmother. Chu Tian directly knocked its head. Woo! The little fox held its head in pain and gave a wronged whimper. It's wrong for a pet to steal its master's treasure. Do you understand? The little fox bared its teeth and wanted to resist, but seeing Chu Tian raise his hand again, it quickly nodded. Holding the small needle in its claws, it walked forward a few steps, looking like it was presenting a treasure to its master. Humph! Chu Tian curled his lips in disdain, seeing that your attitude is not bad, this master doesn't like this thing, so I'll give it to you. The little fox's sparkling eyes flashed with a trace of craftiness. Did it really think it would give away a treasure it liked? This fellow had already guessed Chu Tian's thoughts. This needle itself did not have much killing power, but it could ignore spirit energy defenses, making it a sinister divine weapon for sneak attacks. With the little fox holding onto this needle, it would be able to catch people off guard and catch them off guard. Sneak attacks. The open and aboveboard brother Tian would not do something like this, but the little fox was very cunning. Other than that, when the little fox obtained this weapon, it would have a bit of battle strength. Chu Tian looked at the other things. The medicine cauldron looked quite ordinary, but there were several round bright red beads inside. Blood essence bead. The blood essence bead was a material refined from a living person's blood essence. It was a necessary material for cultivating evil arts. The Tianma cult's leader refined the blood essence bead to heal his injuries, but he did not have time to use it before he died. This thing could directly increase one's cultivation base. Its effects were not inferior to a level 2 spirit pill. But refining a blood essence bead, the process was too cruel. It was unknown how many people's blood was sucked out. This thing went against the heavens and contained a deep resentment, so Chu Tian did not want to use it. Several black jade slips were densely filled with runes. It made people feel dizzy just looking at them. This should be a secret manual that recorded the cultivation methods of the heavenly demon cult's devil arts. Even though the heavenly demon cult was a large cult with many years of inheritance, their devil arts were all derived from the Desolate Age remnant scriptures. But compared to the Netherworld flame sword, these cultivation techniques were far from it. Chu Tian gave it a few simple glances and curled his lips in disdain. He then casually rolled it up. The last thing was a dark red token that was refined from the rare level 3 jade, demon blood jade. There were large amounts of restrictions engraved on the surface and there was a large, demon, word written on it. It should be a token of the Tianma cult. Chu Tian looked at the little fox and said, "What kind of treasure is this? What use do these things have to me? The only useful needle was taken advantage of by a fellow like you." The little fox made a face. A master that mistreated a pet deserved this kind of bad luck. That motley crew has already been defeated. Lin Mu and Fang Han were covered in blood as they came back. It was clear that they had just experienced a cruel battle. The two of them were shocked when they came in because there were no herbs left in the main hall. Chu Tian gave an awkward smile. "I'm sorry, because I wasn't paying attention, those things were all eaten by this fellow." The little fox deliberately stuck out its bulging stomach and patted it with its little claws. It was saying that it was this fox that did it and that they were too late. The two of them revealed a look of disbelief. How could he stuff so many ingredients into the stomach of this little beast that was no bigger than a bowl in 2 hours? Was this little fellow's stomach connected to a different space? These pieces of equipment were found in the blood pool. They should have been used by the branch lord in the past. Chu Tian took out the spear, the dagger, and the blood cloak. "These things are useless to me, you can take them. These are soul weapons." The two of them could feel the strong aura coming from these pieces of equipment and they couldn't help revealing a shocked and excited expression. They were young mercenaries that had just started out. How could they have the money to buy a soul weapon? Chu Tian nodded and said, "Although the weapon spirit has withered, it is still a good quality soul weapon and it still has a good destructive power. If we can find a suitable beast spirit in the future, we can find a weapon refiner to refine the weapon spirit. I'll also give these demonic cultivation techniques to you." Chu Tian handed over the black jade book left by the Tianma cult's branch lord. Although the demonic cultivation technique is strong, the cultivation process is very cruel and it is easy to create a heart demon, so you have to choose carefully. "Many thanks, Brother Lu." The demonic cultivation technique had a large side effect, but as a high-level cultivation technique, how could they refuse its temptation? Moreover, the demonic cultivation technique did not have to be completely cultivated. If they could learn 1 or 2 secret techniques from it, they would have endless benefits. Chu Tian said, "We have to hurry, Central State will soon receive the news and send people over. We'll move as many things as we can from here as possible." The materials in the main hall were either transported from the city or stolen from the caravans. After Central State sent people to take over this place, most of it would be swallowed by them. Since it was like this, it would be better to take away a batch. Chu Tian took out the box containing the 3 lives demonic insect and the magnetic sound stone. These were originally goods that belonged to Miracle Commerce. Chu Tian had hidden them in the nearby mountain forest, burying them in a secret place. When they matured, they would secretly transport them back. Lin Mu and Fang Han took away a large amount of equipment. The two of them were in the mercenary group business, so these high-quality equipment were more practical than real money. While the three of them were busy moving the materials, a large group of soldiers came from outside the stronghold, instantly surrounding them so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. A large number of archers covered them from afar. Several hundred spear soldiers rushed in and saw the three of them. "Stop! Stop for me!" The army surrounded the three of them. Two people who seemed to be the leaders walked out. One was a large and muscular man with dark skin and the other was a middle-aged man with fair skin who looked to be in his 30s or 40s. Hei Cheng shouted in a cold voice, "This is the den of the Black Wind stronghold. There are several suspicious people sneaking around here, so they are most likely not good people. Capture them for me." Lin Mu angrily said, "How can you capture people without distinguishing between right and wrong? We were tricked by that bastard Yan Wuyang to come here. It was Brother Lu who killed Yan Wuyang and the leader of Tianma cult, so the Black Wind stronghold was defeated." "What? Tianma cult?" That fair-skinned scholarly middle-aged man excitedly said, "It really is a branch of Tianma cult. General Xiong, I'll go take a look first." The scholarly middle-aged man personally entered the demon's den. The dark and muscular general's eyes swept over the three of them. He believed that the two of them were not lying, so his gaze softened a bit. He nodded in satisfaction, "If this really is a branch of Tianma cult, then you guys have done a great service." Chu Tian asked curiously, "What's the origin of Tianma cult?" "You don't even know about Tianma cult?" General Xiong shook his head and said, "At its peak, this cult ruled over more than a dozen countries of various sizes. It was very powerful. However, Tianma cult's style was vicious. During its rule, they enslaved tens of thousands of people and used living people as sacrifices to cultivate their martial arts. In the end, it aroused public anger and was eliminated. A sect ruled over more than a dozen countries of various sizes? It was really not simple. No wonder a mere branch leader actually possessed such tyrannical strength." At this time, the scholarly middle-aged man rushed back and shouted angrily, "Did you guys see a token?" Chapter 115. Token? What token? Lin Mu and Fang Han were at a loss. "I didn't see it." "Bastard!" The scholarly middle-aged man's face turned green as he anxiously roared, "You trash think you can deceive me? I advise you to quickly hand over the token. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite." Lin Mu was young and impulsive. The middle-aged man's attitude made him feel very dissatisfied. "We really don't know what you're talking about. Don't say that we haven't seen any token, even if we have, why should we give it to you?" Bang! The scholarly middle-aged man turned into a blur as he pounced forward and punched Lin Mu's face. Lin Mu did not have time to react and was sent flying several feet away. His entire face swelled up and he spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. His eyes revealed a trace of shock. Fang Han angrily charged forward, "What right do you have to hit people?" The middle-aged man's lightning-fast punch landed on his abdomen, causing Fang Han to fall to the ground. "You wild cultivators, listen carefully." The scholarly middle-aged man's white face turned red from anger. "Let me tell you, I am Dragon Sword Young Master Chu Xinghe's housekeeper, Chu Tungwen. The token is what Dragon Sword Young Master wants. If you dare to hide it, just wait for your family to be exterminated." The head of the Central State for Young Masters, Chu Xinghe. When the two of them heard Chu Xinghe's name, their expressions instantly changed. They were originally filled with anger, but they immediately swallowed their anger. "How would we dare to take Heavenly Sword Young Master's things? We really didn't see it." "Pa!" Before he finished, Chu Tungwen slapped him, causing him to fall to the ground. Heavenly Sword Young Master's reputation was like thunder to the ears. He was the head of the Central State for Young Masters and far surpassed the other three Young Masters. He was the most outstanding genius in Central State and was known as the only person in Central State who had the potential to become the second Marquis. Lin Mu and Fang Han were just the leaders of an ordinary mercenary group. How could they dare to provoke such a person? If Chu Xinghe wanted to exterminate the 3 clans of the human race, he could do it with just a few words. Even though he hadn't become the head of the Chu family, he was already in charge of a lot of resources, and there were countless experts like Chu Tongwen who sought refuge with him. Humph. Chu Tian snorted coldly and stood in front of the 2 of them. Lin Mu and Fang Han were afraid of Chu Xinghe's reputation, but he wasn't. That's right, that token was with him. Originally, Chu Tian did not know what the token was used for, but now it seemed that even Chu Xinghe wanted it. It had always been a treasure, how could he give it to such a person? Speak. Where's the token? The moment Chu Tongwen's gaze swept over, a powerful aura swept over, giving people a sense of oppression as if a huge mountain was pressing down on them. No wonder Lin Mu and Fang Han were defeated. The 2 of them were afraid of Chu Xinghe's influence and did not dare retaliate, but the most important reason was that they were not his opponent. This person had the strength of a triple awakened soul, even Chu Tian would find it hard to deal with him. In a situation where the Tianma cult's branch leader had not recovered, he should also have the strength of a triple awakened soul. But Chu Tian did not rely on his strength to win, the main reason was because of the little fox. If it wasn't for the little fox's special ability to break the Tianma cult's branch leader's demonic art, allowing Chu Tian to win by a surprise move, it would be hard to tell who would be the winner. Now, a dignified third awakened soul layer expert, it could be imagined how dangerous he was. Chu Tian faced Chu Tongwen's questioning, but he insisted, I didn't see it. Chu Tongwen snorted, if I don't cripple you, you won't open your mouth. Chu Tian gave a loud laugh, rude and overbearing, unreasonable, is this the style of Central State people? You dare speak to me like this? Courting death. Chu Tongwen was about to explode, but General Xiong suddenly shouted, Chu Tongwen, enough is enough. No matter what you want, the 3 of them broke Yan Wuyang's plan and stopped the revival of the Tianma cult's branch leader, saving Central State from a disaster. They are meritorious subjects. General Xiong, you're too naive, do you really think they're working hard? Chu Tongwen gave a cold laugh, I don't think so. Not only did they not do anything, they are also remnants of the Tianma cult. When Lin Mu and Fang Han heard this, their expressions changed. Putting this label on them, it was simply asking for their lives. General Xiong said, what do you mean by this? These people secretly moved the resources and were caught by us, so they made up a reason to deceive us. But when I went down to take a look, all the resources were gone. Just based on this point, it's enough to convict them. Chu Tongwen said in a strict voice, these things don't belong to you, but you still stole them. This crime cannot be forgiven, you should be executed. General Xiong knit his brows. Stealing resources was a bit unreasonable, but it was also reasonable. After all, these were spoils of war. Of course, the resources don't matter, but they are definitely lying. Chu Tongwen said, General Xiong, with your strength, you should be able to see that these 3 people are at most in the second awakened soul layer. Can this kind of trash survive in the hands of Yan Wuyang? Do you think this kind of trash can survive in the hands of the resurrected Tianma cult's leader? Isn't this a big joke? What he said wasn't wrong, these 3 people's cultivation bases were not strong enough. With Chu Tongwen's slap, Lin Mu and Fang Han did not even have the ability to dodge. How could this kind of strength deal with Yan Wuyang who cultivated a demonic art? How could they deal with the Tianma cult's leader? Chu Tongwen said in a sharp voice, now, I have a serious suspicion that these 3 people are related to Tianma cult. Please hand them over to me, I will personally bring them back to Central State to interrogate them. Venomous slander. We are all people from the main city, how could we be related to this place? Lin Mu and Fang Han's faces turned very ugly. falling into Chu Tongwen's hands, would they still have a life? If you want to blame someone, you can always find a way to frame them. If it wasn't good, they would really have their entire family executed. What was this token? They had never seen a token before. General Xiong did not seem to be able to excuse them. How did you survive Yan Wuyang's hands, and how did you defeat the Tianma cult's leader? I hope you will tell me the truth, don't hide anything. Xiong, why do you have to do this? Chu Tongwen snorted, leave it to me, in less than 3 days, I will definitely knock open their mouths and make them confess truthfully. Ha 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 ha. Chu Tian laughed a few times. Chu Tongwen snorted, what's so funny? Chu Tian walked directly in front of him and looked him in the eye without fear. What's so strange about this? General Xiong and Chu Tongwen were stunned. It's very simple. Chu Tian's words became extremely sharp. He said word by word in a sonorous and forceful manner, because I am stronger than them. General Xiong was shocked. What is your cultivation base? It doesn't matter if you don't believe me, I'll prove it to you right now. Chu Tian pointed at Chu Tongwen and asked, this dog raised by the heavenly sword young master should have a triple awakened soul strength. Calling Chu Tongwen a dog? How many people in Central State had the guts to do this? Chu Tongwen was naturally enraged, seeking death. Speaking of this, it really is a small road for enemies, it's the one surnamed Chu again. Chu Tian slowly pulled out the netherworld sword from his back. I'm too lazy to waste my breath, just make your move. Since you don't want to accept it, then father will beat you until you do. Father doesn't have any other skills, but I know how to teach a dog a lesson. Everyone looked at each other in amazement. This seemingly ordinary fellow actually didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth and challenged Chu Tongwen. What was the difference between this and seeking death? Chu Tongwen was not originally surnamed Chu, he was a very famous rogue cultivator, known as the life-stealing scholar. Not only did he have a very high cultivation base, he also knew the geography of the world, alchemy arrays, ancient runes, there was nothing he wasn't proficient in. There was a time when he fought with Chu Xinghe and was easily defeated by him in a single move. From then on, he firmly believed that Chu Xinghe was not an ordinary person, he was destined to soar into the heavens, becoming a character not inferior to the 8 marquises. In order to save his life, he pledged his loyalty to Chu Xinghe, changing his surname to Chu, becoming a consecrator of the Chu family, as well as one of Chu Xinghe's steward and trusted aides. Not only was this person strong, he was also very knowledgeable, so he had a very high status in the Chu family, even above the normal elders. This nobody who didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth, actually wanted to challenge the famous, life-stealing scholar, Chu Tongwen. Chu Tongwen didn't get angry, instead he smiled, surnamed Xiong, don't say I'm not giving you face, this is what he asked for. General Xiong's face was filled with helplessness, it was already like this, what else could he do? Chu Tongwen didn't say any more nonsense, he directly took a step forward, a terrifying aura filled the air, white spirit energy gathered on top of his head, unexpectedly transforming into the image of a golden book. Chu Tian blurted out, book source spirit. This Chu Tongwen source spirit type, unexpectedly was very similar to the young Mississippi, for a nobody like you to be able to see the 7-page golden book, you can die in peace. From Chu Tongwen's long sleeves, a giant iron pen suddenly came out, it was a full 3 feet long, the end was as sharp as a spear, it coldly pointed at Chu Tian, I'll give you one more chance, tell me the location of the token, cripple your own cultivation and you can avoid death. Chu Tian laughed out loud. With a flick of his wrist, he raised his sword. The blue and white sword chi swept towards Chu Tongwen. This sword did not use his source spirit, it did not have the demon god's sword's destructive power, even if the netherworld sword chi was strong, it was only at the 2nd awakened soul layer. A 1st awakened soul layer cultivator releasing the destructive power of a 2nd awakened soul layer cultivator, this was already very amazing. Just based on this move from Chu Tian, it was completely possible for him to kill Yan Wuyang. Insignificant skill. Chu Tongwen's iron pen forcefully touched the sword chi, instantly breaking it. But the moment the sword chi broke, a strong stream of air came out. It was accompanied by large amounts of blue and white sparks. What? Chu Tongwen was shocked. General Xiong also had a surprised look on his face. This sword chi was very strong. It did not seem like it came from a first awakened soul layer cultivator. Moreover, the sword chi contained a strange flame. Although he did not know what kind of flame it was, it had a strong energy. Once it landed on his body, the consequences would be unimaginable. Chu Tongwen quickly retreated. What's wrong? Weren't you very arrogant? Why are you retreating? After Chu Tian finished speaking, he sent another sword chi over. Dragon Roar Golden Bell. Chu Tongwen gave a loud roar. The golden book source spirit above his head suddenly flipped several pages. It released a majestic dragon's roar. A giant golden cover covered Chu Tongwen. This golden cover was not only shining, there was also a faint flood dragon circling around it. When Chu Tian's sword chi hit it, there were only sparks and the sword chi disappeared, not leaving a single mark. Lin Mu and Fang Han were shocked. Such a terrifying defensive power. The rumors were true. The life-stealing scholar Chu Tongwen's golden book source spirit had a total of 7 pages, each page recorded a mysterious ancient cultivation technique. It could attack, defend, support, and heal, making him an all-rounder. Chu Tian was in big trouble. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.